It's a brand new year, and there's never been a better time to turn your great ideas into realities with Squarespace. Because Squarespace makes it easier than ever to launch your passion project. Whatever you're doing, you're trying to showcase some work on the internet, you're trying to sell some stuff, they've got beautiful templates and the ability to customize just about anything, so you can easily make a beautiful website all by yourself, and it'll take care of all of those things. And if you do get stuck, Squarespace has award-winning customer support there for you 24/7. Head to squarespace.com/bombcast for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, use the offer code BOMBCAST to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
Hey, hi, it is January the 5th, 2021?
21, baby.
2021. We made it. Everything's better now. It's the
20 having fun.
That's
We're
right.
having fun.
You said it. We're just heading back to the office tomorrow. Everything got better overnight. It's
Team
2021.
Dad.
The accursed year is no more.
Taking to the
everything-
streets and shaking hands and licking faces.
Yep,
the
it's
new
my
year.
month, baby. I'm doing that too.
Shaking babies and kissing hands.
Just walking up to somebody, spit in both hands, and then just press them up against each other and kind of
Right.
slowly rub
Yep.
them in.
Blood pacts with every single person I meet this year.
Yes. All of the horror of 2020 has left us behind. It's nothing but smooth sailing from here.
That's
Well, you need to
right.
carry a
Ass
dagger
eating is
around.
back on the menu. What?
I'm sorry.
Oh,
What?
have the prices changed at all?
Which menu?
It's a little bit cheaper. Yeah,
They
it's
closed
like
the fresh
a
choice near me, so
introductory
I don't know.
offer kind of thing.
Ass eating is not a fresh choice.
Whose
Episode
menu
title.
are we talking about here?
The menu. Our
A menu.
global humanity's menu.
Oh, I
Yeah,
see.
we live in a menu.
It's the menu that binds us all together.
Yeah, it's Waffle House.
That menu known as the human experience.
Yes,
right.
our shared menu.
Yes. Hello, hi, we're back. I'm back. You're all packed. You were here for one more week than I was last year. How did that go? How did the infernal episode go? People were so stoked about it. I don't know. Did you hail our Dark Lord? I mean, what?
I did. Our Dark Lord, and our Dark Lord responded and said, "Get off Twitch! They broke it." And I said,
Oh,
"Yes, Satan." And then
Satan's least favorite streaming service, Twitch TV.
yeah, no, it's actually powered by. Yeah, I think that was that show, right? I don't remember. It all kind of runs together because we recorded those. We recorded the last couple out of order, just because of all the holiday stuff. But yeah, so they rolled out. It's a lot of new stuff for this year and kind of old stuff for last year, I guess. But like, yeah, I don't know if Twitch just decided they hate embeds. Across the board, because I know people were using those to get around ads or something, so maybe they just threw it all out and said, well, screw it, we're not going to support any embeds at all. Or if there's something broken about our embed, because they changed the way embeds work. But like basically like every 10 minutes people were getting this like full text screen that just said like, hey, you should click through and watch this on Twitch. And it was just like, okay, this is like a completely broken experience now.
Okay, that's way worse than I realized.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. And people,
it wasn't just
people said
it wasn't just an ad interstitial thing.
Yeah, and people are saying that it's all embeds. That is like it's definitely not just like the way we are embedding the player or something. Like they just, people saying it ruined Salty Bet and stuff too. Yeah, so Twitch just decided embeds were not in bed with embeds anymore. And I guess that's something you can do when you don't have any realistic competition out there. Oh, I guess YouTube. I don't know.
Whalebone.
Saying you're not spending a lot of time on Facebook gaming.
Whalebone.
I feel like I check in to see. Well, I haven't actually. I don't remember the last time.
I'm gonna check in to
Facebook
see. Hold
page.
on. Facebook gaming. Probably Warzone.
I mean, this is a very naive question, I'm sure, but is Facebook gaming competitive on a tech level? It has to be, right?
I don't know.
In my mind, all
question.
Facebook live streams are all still like tiny little like postage stamp windows.
So I think that's the question we need to consider, is because so like if Twitch is not going to be a viable platform for us to use in our chat here anymore, then we need to figure out like what do we want to do? We have our own player, which has its own ups and downs, or do we want to? We can go to YouTube, but then I think the answer is we'll probably end up going to YouTube. But like, there's a part of me that wants to see like, what does live streaming look like on Twitter? That's probably fucking weird, right? Could we use that, or something? And like, Facebook is really big in numbers. Last time I looked, but all of those numbers were. It's a lot of stuff. They seem like it is a lot of mobile games that are being played in not English. Like it feels like maybe Facebook has maybe cut out a market for mobile games overseas or something like that. Yeah. Like that seems like that's where their numbers are. I don't know. But it's been a while since I checked. So maybe they've gotten better. I don't fucking know. So I don't know. I like there's a part of me wants to test the waters and see like what other services look like or whatever, because like obviously like Twitch has made a decision that kind of makes it unrealistic for us to use it here in our chat. So that happened while you were gone.
What about VR chat? What if we just kind of hold like local town hall meetings in weird corners of VR chat, and then we could be kind of whatever we want?
I was making a VTuber of myself last night.
There you go. So. You could be like Sora and get infinite chains and belt buckle loops and just like
oh man,
you could hang out with Donald Duck. I'll be Donald Duck. Oh. Yeah, I'll take my pants off for you, Jan.
Hell yeah.
What? Okay, hang on. Back up. What software are you using to make a VTuber?
I saw. I forget the name of it, but there's something on Steam now that's
it's like free, isn't it?
It's free. Yeah. Lets you fudge around and make a VTuber.
Is that Veroid? Is that what it's called?
That sounds familiar. Let me check with these computers.
It's the one with the trailer that's just like the hair being dragged out on a tablet. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
So you know how Steam does the thing where they surface like news updates for stuff you still have installed?
Right. Yes.
I guess I must have had Face Rig installed for all these years. Still. Because I got this urgent headline for Face Rig the other day. Like, we've updated with all this stuff. Like, come check us out again. Like,
well, so Face Rig, they pivot. They launched a new piece of software. Like, it's like, here's the follow up to Face Rig, and it's like all subscriptioned up and all like fucked on that front. So I think like that launched poorly, and now they're like, oh god. So like they're trying to figure out.
Yes, it had an air of backpedal. Yes, air of desperation around the news update for sure.
So I don't know really anything about how the software works, but do you have to be humanoid? Does it map to like, how hard is it for me to be like, if I wanted to be, I don't know, you know that moon from McDonald's with the big sunglasses?
Mac Tonight, yeah.
Yeah. If I want, how hard would it be to like have just kind of like a weird crescent shape and like really exaggerated features, or does it like pretty much go 1-to-1? Because most of the VTubers I've seen have been like, you know, people,
anime ladies.
Yeah. Maybe they have dog ears or something, or cat ears.
Right.
I think as long as it
maybe they have dog or cat ears.
As long as it can kind of map to at least your eyes and mouth, you can be as abstract as you want.
Oh, that's appealing.
God
Jan,
damn
we should mess around with this on stream.
We should do a quick look at this.
Fuck around and become Mac Tonight. I am just over here Googling pictures of Mac Tonight now.
He's so cool, right?
So long.
Maybe not Mac Tonight. Anyway, that stuff seems super powerful, and you can. There are different ways to rig it up to where you could be in VR and have more direct control over the mapping. Or I think there are keyboard commands you can do to like change the expression on the face of the character and stuff like that too. So you can kind of do your thing. That stuff is intriguing. I just want to be a toilet. I just want to be a living, breathing, talking toilet.
Like a Japanese toilet with like controls on the side, like a.
Sure. Yeah. Actually, why not? Yeah. Absolutely.
Control panel.
Yeah. With an MP3 player on it.
Oh.
Like one of them good toilets.
Did they make that? Did you?
Yes. Yes.
Did you actually see a toilet in Japan that had an MP3 player in it?
Yes. When we went shopping,
did you see a toilet with a headphone jack in it?
Yes. I think it had speakers. But I went to. Yes, we would go to department stores and just walk around and look at stuff because that was fun.
I remember.
Yeah,
and the giant Yodobashi camera, right?
Right. Yeah, or just a variety of places, like wherever it was that I bought my my Sony Airboard, the wireless TV. Were you there on that trip? That me and Amir.
No.
Me and Amir got locked in a death struggle where we both convinced each other we were going to spend $1,000 on a. So like a wireless phone back when people had landlines. It's like that, but a television. It's got a dock, and you can undock it and walk around.
You mean like a cordless phone?
Yes, a cordless phone. Yes, exactly. Yes, and it had a base that you would dock it to, and it was a cordless TV. You could undock and walk around your house, and had a touch screen and a really rudimentary web browser, and like a phone jack on it to dial up to the internet. It was a giant.
It was a giant iPad.
Yes, like before there was an iPad.
A decade before iPads, Japan invented the iPad.
And it was like built for over-the-air TV, but Japanese over-the-air TV, which does not map to U.S. signals, which I had cable anyway, so like that's broken right there. And so Amir and I talked each other up, like, no, I'll get one if you get one. Like, fuck yeah, all right, cool, let's go back. We went back to the store the next day. I bought one, he didn't.
Well, I mean, he can just borrow yours. It's convenient enough that you can just reach over. What did you watch on your wireless television?
I hooked it up to a VCR because that was the only way I could get a signal into it, and then I could push play on a tape and then walk around the house and watch, like, I don't know, Mystery Science Theater. I don't know. I'm trying to think of what I would have watched on a VHS tape then. Heartbreak. I don't know. WrestleMania from some number of years ago.
I rented a lot of VHS tapes from the library because I'd wait for the bus there, and they had like a collection of Mystery Science Theater, Monty Python, and Chicken Run. And so I would just kind of do a constant rotation of those. I feel like everyone has their kind of quintessential tapes that they go to, and wrestling tapes is definitely
and so the other thing is, like, I also bought a Neo Geo around that same time, and so I thought, like, well, this will be awesome because in the room that my computer is in, I don't have a TV, so I can hook up the Neo Geo in there to this thing. And then I hooked it all up and realized, like, oh, the latency on this thing is like fucking 4 seconds or something. This doesn't work at all. And so once I realized that, it was pretty much useless until years later. I ended up hooking it back up after moving here, like a decade and a half later. And my roommate used to use it just to walk. I think he would go apply his like spray tan stuff. Well, it broke. The short version is that TV broke shortly after he started using it. So I don't know what happened, and I don't want to know, but the Sony Airboard is no longer functional.
Do you still have it?
R.I.P.
I just actually found it, and it is in a pile for me to get rid of on account of it doesn't work. And the batteries all don't have any charge in them anyway. So, but like the screen broke, it started getting a bunch of lines on it and all this other stuff. So
I apologize for doing show and tell on a primarily audio show, but I could not help myself as soon as you started talking about items
got a gun.
Items that we were dared and or guilted into buying in Japan that were a bad idea.
I've got mine out in the garage.
What is it?
It's a fucking pistol, man. What do you think it is?
I believe it is. Isn't this the USP Tactical 45 that Solid Snake wields in Metal Gear Solid?
It is. Yes.
That's the gun that bested Revolver Ocelot.
Except airsoft. Don't tell anybody. It doesn't have any orange on it. It looks like a gun. I have not opened this thing in like 10 years at least. I don't know what's going on.
I bought what did I get? I got two just like M92Fs or whatever, like two just 9mm pistols, because I wanted to be able to hold two of the same gun and dive sideways while shooting them.
How did you get? Oh, I guess it was GameSpot at the time. I was going to say, how did you get out of Japan as a giant bomb with guns?
It was really easy. It was like we were terrified about it, but it was like
totally
okay. So first step in this story is this was before 9/11.
Okay.
Yeah, big point of context.
Mine was not. I didn't.
But we did try.
After, like Department of Homeland Security was
2003 was the first time I went to Japan. I came
Okay, all right.
Like,
Well, then,
very little problem.
so the thing, and it was just awesome to watch this happen. So the first time we bought guns, we did two things with them. One, we went out to a park and shot each other for a while.
Sure.
It was like me and I think it was like me, Amir, and I think Giancarlo might have, like, we were fucking packing. We would walk around the streets of Tokyo with fake guns in our fucking waistband because it was just the dumbest shit.
Persona 5.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And
I'm pretty sure that's the kind of shit that could get you banned from coming back to Japan.
well, so no, because they know what those are. So
Well, sure.
when we made a bunch of phone calls to like customs and stuff without telling us who we were and when we were flying back and all this other stuff. About like, hey, so we got these replicas. They're not toys, they're replicas. And so that was like the thing is like toys needed to have an orange barrel, replicas did not.
This is solid metal now that I haven't touched this thing in years, but this thing is very heavy.
And it's I mean, replica culture is huge there because it's like pretty much impossible to get a real gun.
And it's treated like paintball in a lot of ways. Like people play it like a game in some ways. So like we tried to figure out how to get these things back into the US. And I think we had made peace with the idea of just like, hey, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Like this is worth the risk because these things are crazy.
Brad is just screwing a gun barrel on while you're talking.
Yeah, he's like a silencer.
That is, I believe this is a semi-functional silencer. I mean, it is a silencer, but I think it actually works. Like it actually does suppress.
Do not say things out loud like I live in California and have a semi-functional silencer. Okay.
It's not a real gun.
I don't know that part's gonna matter.
Sorry, we're not on Twitch anymore, baby.
That's right. So we make all these phone calls and try to figure out, and then like the word we get back is like, well, if they're replicas, you can just bring them in. It's fine. I'm like, okay. So that gave us what we needed to be like, all right, we're just gonna pack these fake guns in our cases and hope for the best. And so we get to the airport and we're going through Japanese customs to leave Japan. And it's just great. So we're on a flight going back to San Francisco. So it's full of like, it's over half full of like Americans, like, or not Japanese people flying back to the US. And we get through customs and go through one at a time. And dude gets to, I believe it's my case. It might have been Ryan McDonald's, but I think it was mine. And they're wanding it and doing all this other stuff. He's like, well, I'm going to open this one. Opens it up and just pulls out a rifle, holds it up like this, like looks at it, just goes like, considers it, and just nods and puts it back in the case and zips it back up, and we go through.
Wait, was it still in like the retail box or was it just out?
No, because the retail box wouldn't fit in the luggage, so it was like
just a loose rifle.
Just a loose rifle. So he holds it up and just goes like, all right, you got an airsoft gun, whatever, kid.
Yeah,
And we're around all these other people that are traveling. And they just see that. They just see some like this process of like MP5 pulled out of bag, like put back in and go like, yeah, go on. And everyone is just looking at each other going like, did you fucking see that shit? Like you just see this like wave of like commotion around us as people are like, those guys are super fucking, they are super bringing guns, like bad guns, like not even like these, it's not like some weird hunting right. It was just like, yes. So we brought fake assault weapons back into the US. And then the other end of that was that no one in the US looked, because when you get back on the US side at that time, they were just like, yeah, whatever. You're welcome back.
Totally.
Go on.
I just,
you had to declare stuff. Yeah. You had to declare stuff and you'd be like, here's all, I spent this much money on replicas. I spent this much money on old video games, and you write on the back like how much you spent on stuff, and then they look at it and goes like, well, it's under $1,100, so fucking whatever, just go. And so then we were just walking again. Then you're just like walking through SFO, with like 3 very realistic, like heavy fake guns in your bag, and you're like, I have to get out of here. And so we did that about 2 or 3 years straight, I think. Of going to TGS and go like, we need to get more guns before that got out of our system. I think the only we never, yeah. Other than that first time when we ran around in a very large park late at night, there were no other people around, kind of shooting at each other with it. I don't know that I've ever actually like played airsoft, but some girls I was living with used one of the pistols because there was a guy that was like, they were like friends, but like he was like constantly trying to like get in their pants in a way that they was like, just fucking stop, dude. And so like they invited him over, and then when he showed up, jumped out of a bush and just fucking unloaded on him. And that's fucked up, but also very funny to watch. So that's
I had
really
trouble flying with a burrito in my backpack.
Yeah.
What?
Damn. What a more innocent time.
Things are different now.
Yeah.
Were you leaving or coming?
Oh, I was flying to PAX, and I think I've told this story. I was like, I'm going to be too busy to eat. I'm just going to bring my food with me. And then I just had a bunch of like SDI cables and a burrito in my backpack, and they gave me shit for that. It didn't help that I brought like a bunch of Giant Bomb stickers and like our little drawstring bags that say Giant Bomb.
Oh yeah.
So they
took because I guess they would consider that maybe this burrito is actually like gunpowder or something, right? I mean, they probably had to be like, yeah.
In my experience in airports, it doesn't matter how stylized or cartoonish the word bomb is. They will take it equally seriously, no matter what.
Yep. They took one of my burritos. I had two.
Oh, wait, what?
I had two burritos. No, they were both carne asada, both wrapped in foil.
Well, they probably like they probably saw them and were like, well, let's tear one open. Okay, it's just a burrito. We can eat this one. We can't put it back because nobody wants you putting it back in your backpack.
Wait, did they do the little chemical detection wipe down on each burrito?
They did on each burrito. They did on my hands. And like one of the TSA dudes with the burrito they took squeezed it and like lifted it around like he could tell it was an explosive or something. And then he kept it. But he put the other burrito back in my bag.
Well,
I don't know.
I know I feel safer.
Doing God's work.
That's right.
Jeez.
Y'all play any video games? Do we still do that around here? What's going on?
Yeah, we had some time off.
What's happening?
Games.
Who played to what?
Ooh, I played. Well, so I missed episode 666, but right before our break and during our break, I beat Ghost of Tsushima. Which was
mainlining to get to the end of that.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about it when I started first playing it, about how easy it is to become just like an unstoppable killing machine in that game, and especially if you like do way too much side stuff early on. And so I did like a moderate amount of side stuff, main stuff, side stuff, main stuff. But then when I got to the last act, I just was like, I want to see this through. I'm glad I did. I enjoyed the game. I have some problems with like the story goes in some weird places, and we'll get into that in Game of the Year. But what I had the most fun with, surprisingly, was the Legends mode. The
multiplayer stuff. I haven't played that game since. I don't think I've played that game since they patched in the multiplayer stuff, or if I have, I haven't seen any of it.
Were you saying yesterday that there's a guy that like runs around in the game world now, like yelling at you about the Legends mode or something?
He's like he's technically a vendor, and he's in kind of all those major towns that have like a blacksmith, a swordsmith, and it just will talk. Yeah, he'll be telling a story about like the demon, the Oni of so-and-so village caused a boat full of ghosts to come attack.
Oh, so no. Not a ghost boat.
You think a regular boat? The whole game you're fighting off regular boats full of Mongols, and now there's a boat full of ghost Mongols.
Oh, no.
Wait, are they just the same character model with like a little wispy energy thing around them or something?
Is it the
Several
Taken,
of them
or are they
are
just the Taken?
Several of them are the Taken, but then the game. So, Brad, you were surprised when I started talking about like trying to gear up for the raid yesterday.
Yeah, I thought this was just like a horde mode, kind of like, hey, let's just 4 people get together and cut up some samurai or something. But it sounds like they made Destiny or something.
Yeah, so it definitely does have like a survival kind of horde mode. The first time you play it, you have to like really sit down for a half hour, and it's like, here's the first class. We're going to make you use every ability. We're going to make you use your ultimate. So, there's 4 classes. Each of them is kind of a different style of how you play the game. There's the samurai class, which is just very much like you get stronger. You have sword boosts. His active move is he'll tether to another enemy and you'll start to siphon their health off. The combat is a little different because you don't have... So, in the main game, you have the 4 different stances you can switch to, and they're each effective against a different enemy type.
Right, yeah.
So instead of that, the different gear you pick up has one of those stances, and like epic and legendary gear will maybe let you switch between 2 of the different stances. So you can be like, I'm good against sword guys and spear guys, or I'm good against shield guys and heavy guys. The different classes are just kind of what your active ability is. There's like a stealth class, where you can kind of disappear and get a free assassination off on somebody. There's a support class, which will res people. And there's a ranger class for like, bow and arrow stuff. But then there's also a whole like elemental system, they straight up made Destiny. You can pick up different elements, and like the red element is going to be good against red enemies. So you'll have to like power up on red, hit a red dude with your red sword. It'll break his elemental affinity, and so everyone else can wail on him. And so in the harder difficulties, you're like actively kind of bouncing between multiple elements. There's straight up new enemies. There are like Oni that are demons, and they'll have stuff like huge AoE attacks, or they will heal anyone in an area. So you have to take them out first. It's really deep and really complex.
How much content is there in terms of just like what you like? I know you said that there was a raid, and I'm sure that's a big involved thing, but like up until that point, like, is there like a long story associated with this? Like, you say it's Destiny, but I'm wondering, is it like it's actually just 3 maps and one's a horde and one's a this and one's a that, or is it like what's the structure?
It's got 3 modes basically. One mode is 2-player, and that's the story. You can match in by yourself or with another person, and it's like 8 maps, each with 3 levels of difficulty, and that difficulty will have more stronger enemies, and those difficulties are gear locked behind your light score, whatever they call it, your power level. And so there's about 8 of those. There's 4 horde maps, and there's the last tier, which you can only go into with a party. It won't matchmake for you. That's where the raid is, and it also has something that look like strikes, kind of like longer story-based things. And so maybe like 4 of those total. So a decent amount. It's like one of those things right now, unless they add a bunch more, which they very well could. It's one of those things where like if you got 2 to 4 friends together who liked the gameplay of that and were looking for something multiplayer, you could have fun for like 2 weeks.
Cool. Wow. Jeez. It's kind of wild, but it's free. Like I'm trying to figure out what their plan is long term, unless maybe they are planning to put out like packs for it or something. But
they probably need to figure out like, hey, is this something people actually want? And so you put out the first one for free, and if it takes off, then you're like, okay, we're going to do another content drop and then some cosmetics with it, or
there's emotes, there's like sword effects, there's different costumes, and some of it is locked behind your experience level. Actually, I don't think you can use real money at all. I'm fairly sure that it's all like the currency are earned through playing. There's one currency that I still don't know what it does. I think it's called honor. The only bummer.
That's right.
You can't buy that.
Yeah, you wouldn't know anything about it.
Fuck. The only problem is like it's hard to like, nobody knows about this. Nobody knows that it exists. Everyone finished that game and then kind of moved on with their life. And so like none of my friends are like, people will be like, oh, I'm picking up Ghost of Tsushima. I'm like, hey, you should check out the multiplayer. I'm trying to get a team together for the raid. You want to hit this raid? I don't even know if the raid's good. I just want to do it because I have a high enough gear score now. I've been playing it so much.
It's cool to hear that they're getting a little kind of fantastical with the enemies and stuff in that thing, because I feel like that was a big missed opportunity in the base game of like how you would have all these side missions of like people are disappearing in the woods at night and there's some spooky spirit shit going on, and you go investigate it and it's like, oh, it's just bandits, and you kill the bandits and that's the end of the mission. Like it feels like they do that over and over in that game. It's like, man, there's all this cool Japanese mythology you could be trading in here that you're just.
They definitely could have dipped in for like the occasional side quest or boss fight, like how the Assassin's Creed Origins did it. You know, where like you just have this mission all of a sudden where you're fighting a snake god, and you're like, okay, fucking, I guess.
All this cool cultural material they could have drawn on there around the edges, just make the world feel a little bit more mysterious. So it's cool they're at least doing that here.
Yeah. It's like they probably wanted to make something that was more realistic. And
it is a very human story.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. And so, but them branching out in the multiplayer says like, oh man, like maybe they could have actually just made a better game overall if they had dipped in that direction a little bit further.
Or maybe they're like, what if Ghost of Tsushima 2 takes a supernatural turn and they're just like, what if testing stuff out?
Ghost of Tsushima 2 ghosts are real. That's it.
We actually have ghosts.
Yeah,
Ghost versus Zombies of Tsushima.
Does that game feel like it sets up a sequel?
Versus Abe Lincoln. Like, yeah.
It does in the way that like whenever you beat an open world game, they have to like, unless they just straight up make you go back before the last boss fight, they kind of have to make it like, well, there's still work to be done here. It is a very self-contained story. The major characters you meet are all dealt with and have satisfying, interesting conclusions. But I bet like that game was well received enough and seemed to sell well that they would be thinking about, okay, what does the next one look like? Especially since Sony's whole thing right now is like huge first party masterpieces, you know, like that kind of like God of War, Last of Us.
I mean, wasn't it like a huge release? Like maybe not their number one game of the year, but like close. Or maybe it was.
I don't know.
Year. I think it did super well.
Last of Us, I think pushed it out of the top slot.
You might be right. Yeah.
Yeah. No. It like I said, we'll talk about the story and stuff for Game of the Year, but I was hooked. I was hooked all the way through. I really wanted to see it through after what happens at the end of the second act. And I think they make some interesting choices for a video game, and then I think they kind of like take the coward's way out at the very end, if I can be vague about it.
No honor.
So it's a video game then. I get it.
Yeah, it's at the end of the day, it's a video game that they have.
At the end of the game, it's a product that they think they might want to.
But they they kind of go like this above it a little bit. They kind of like go
a little bit of a like yeah.
You know who has ultimate honor?
Ooh.
You know who is a being made of pure honor?
Ichiban Kasuga.
It's Kasuga Ichiban's son.
Here comes the Yakuza train, baby.
I'm only in chapter 4, chapter 5. I forget. I just took up residence in the brothel, so that's probably pretty early on.
For the second time in your life, you've taken up residence in a brothel.
We'll talk about the other time. That's how I ended up with the airsoft gun. But say a minor Yakuza fever has overtaken the household here in the last few days.
Wonderful.
Which is exciting for now. I don't know if it sustains.
Are you playing with
it's a very long game.
Or the sub? Brad?
That's the thing. What's that?
Are you playing with the dub or the sub?
Sub only. Thank you.
Okay. The sub is supposed to be good.
I'm sure it's fine.
Or I mean, the dub is supposed to be good.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoy the melodramatic quality of a lot of Japanese voice acting, especially in a game like this that is pure melodrama.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, that's the one thing. The only knock I have against it, because I'm really enjoying it, is it's a little bit long-winded sometimes.
Yeah,
like occasionally it takes a little bit too long to get to the point on some stuff. But I'm having a pretty good time with it so far.
Especially with like, I remember when I was talking about this game, Brad, you were curious, like, do they get into the whole like Yakuza melodrama, big stuff? And I was like, the first few hours of that game are like super rich and dense in that stuff. And then it kind of peters out to like a more of a side plot, would you say?
Sure. Yeah. Like I'm in Yokohama now and getting mixed up in all that stuff and kind of have
like
left behind. Yeah, right. But like the big framing story of like what's going on with the boss and all that's, you know what I mean? Like why are things so different once you get out of prison? Like they hooked me so hard with that stuff, and then immediately I'm gonna have to wait another like 15 hours for resolution on this, aren't I? Or something like that.
Maybe more like 40.
Yeah. Just say like
but like where you are, the side plot that like kind of the Great Wall of muscle, I think it's called, right?
Yes, I just heard the phrase "the Great Wall of Muscle" last night.
Oh,
yes, yeah.
The Great Wall of Muscle is the trio of like Japanese, Chinese, and Korean gangs that are all kind of left over in this side city that are all vying for power, and it's just such a fun dynamic. That part is about to pick up for you in a really fun way.
Yeah, like it just sort of the Korean gang got real merciless right where we left off last night, and I can tell it's like, oh, it's weird because like the game is so damn goofball all the time that when all of a sudden they take a crossbow and like shoot it through somebody's head, it's like, right, this is still a story about gangsters and mob shit.
Yeah,
not just men and adults in diapers and stuff like that.
This is something where this is a story where like when somebody has a gun, you're like, holy shit, there is a gun in play.
Totally.
Like that could kill somebody. What do you think of the?
Probably an airsoft gun. It'll be fine.
Yeah, it's an airsoft crossbow. It's fine. It won't hurt anything.
Well, that's like all the enemies on the streets. Like Brad, you could speak to this, but like people you encounter are like dudes with an umbrella, and then he'll turn into like having a club or something, right?
Yeah.
Like eventually there are dudes with airsoft guns, and then all of a sudden it's a real gun because your main character loves video games so much that he's like disassociating a little bit.
Yeah, man, that Dragon Quest stuff is so I don't know. Everything about that game is ridiculous. I think the localization is really good in that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't think of any examples right now, but just like the writing is as dumb as everything that's going on the screen, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like whoever did the English part of that game is super like tied into the feel of that game.
That's the thing I'd say about the voice acting too, is even the English voice acting, I think they did a really good job with it. Like, yeah, you're not going to necessarily get like that Japanese melodrama out of the English dialogue, but like that stuff all seems really well written too. So the dub doesn't seem bad.
But even just like
I'm afraid to get deeper into that game because it's just like, man, like straightforward Yakuza games are already super fucking long, and then you layer in like this combat system and all this other stuff, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I guess
I'll ever get through this game.
Like, I'm surprised at how fast the battles play out. Like, I feel like I just button through those things. Like, granted, I've fought like one boss so far. I don't know how much harder and more complicated it gets. And like, there definitely are systems in that game for sure. There's like, jobs and ranks and levels and like personality system and like only certain weapons can be used by certain jobs and stuff like that. Like, there's a ton of stuff to manage there. But like,
when you go down a certain job class, there will be two. Each job has their own. Each job will have 16 skills or something, but have 2 skills at certain levels that will carry on to your character regardless of what job you're picking. And so you're like, okay, because it does pick up late game. It gets hard. You have to start really actively engaging with the systems in it. About like 2/3 of the way through, I would say. You can kind of mash your way through the first 2/3 relatively easy if you like get good gear and use items well and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's weird. Like I'm really excited to be playing a JRPG again, except I have to keep reminding myself that it's a JRPG because like there's such long stretches where you just don't even see or touch any of that stuff. Like 20-30 minutes of cutscenes and running back and forth, and then you pop into a menu and it's like, all right, I have a party and I need to equip weapons and like healing items and shit.
And then you go do the property management simulation for 2.5 hours and forget you're in an RPG at all.
I haven't even gotten to that yet, but I got obsessive about the can collecting mini game.
Yeah,
that I hit Child of Cans rank. It's like, all right, I need to get this meter up before I move on. What a dumb game. I'm glad it's an RPG though. Like I never played any of the old Yakuza games, and they might be fine, but like it's hard for me to imagine having as much fun with this game if it was just a button masher. If that's what those games are, I don't know.
They're a little more complex.
There's strategy to that combat. There's
like finishing moves and items in play. Like one of the bigger complaints I've seen with how this game adjusts the combat. I generally like it, but I agree that like picking up stuff off of the street and bashing dudes with it is such a like core Yakuza, like mainline Yakuza experience. And this game, if you happen to be next to a bicycle when you attack, you might bash a dude with that bike, but it's not really a part of the combat.
Yeah, that's actually one thing. one thing that's a little grating. It's not that bad about the combat, but the positioning not being in your control, you just kind of have to like wait for people to move around to where you want them, and like, you know, sometimes like enemies will just straight up block your attack if they get in your way and stuff like that. Is not my favorite part of that game, but
yeah,
it's a little bit clumsy, but
it is. And then you learn to circumvent a lot of that stuff, but like, yeah, it's clumsy is a good word. I think it's a great first showing for we want to try something that's not beat 'em up combat.
Sure.
Like, I think they could refine this a lot.
I'm having fun with that part of the game for sure. And also, like, I mean, I'm sure any of those old Yakuza games were kind of pick up and play. Like, if you were coming in at any point, I'm sure they got you into it. But just knowing there's no backstory here, and I'm like in on the ground floor, is just like this. It's a bunch of stress off, you know. Like,
yeah, I think that's what makes Zero really good.
Sure,
Zero is like a really good. Zero was a fantastic fucking game.
Yeah, I mean, watching you play that game for the quick look of that was what made me want to play a Yakuza game in the first place. So, yeah, I'm excited to keep playing that game. It seemed pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah, good game, fun, great crew. Just the whole cast of characters in that game. I love every one of them.
Yeah, I've only gotten Adachi and Namba so far, but what is the description on Namba? Has like the bad breath attack. And it's just like Namba employs his legendary stank ass breath to lower the enemy's defense or something like that. It's just like matter of fact and dumb at the same time.
Or he'll put a bunch of alcohol in his mouth and spit it out into a lighter, and that is your AoE fire attack.
Yeah, I think like this game proves itself to be amazing. Like right out of the gate, I still have this fucking screenshot on my desktop of the line of dialogue of like you chase the guy down that you're shaking down and get him to the street, and his line is, "There's nothing illegal about selling animal fuck videos. Believe me, it's educational." I was like, well, this is like this is a game of the year contender, is what I'm reading on that screen. Just like right out of the gate, it's like that screenshot's been on my desktop since I figured out the process of like, okay, wait, I take the screenshot on the Xbox and then it uploads it to a OneDrive, so I need to re-enable my OneDrive and like, pull it all
this
out.
This is the game that has made me understand the Xbox's screenshot and video taking stuff, and it is because of writing. It's all every time I've taken a screenshot, it's just because of something in the writing, or video. Is it like should I assume it is just like this structure the whole way through? Like it it's like 80% cutscenes right now, and like occasionally you dip into like, all right, now I'm going to run somewhere and fight guys for 10 or 15 minutes, and then it's back to cutscenes again. Like, is it that the whole way? Or is there a point where it's like more RPG than cutscene?
The mid game is it gets to a place where the beginnings and the ends of the chapters are really loaded with story. Okay. Once it's kind of, because it's still like you say you're 4 chapters in, and I'm pretty sure that's probably at this point like 15 hours, maybe.
Probably not even that. I'm not doing a ton of side stuff yet because I feel like I'm not at the point where it's opened up and I can do a bunch of side stuff, Which
is the point I'm getting to of like 10 hours in, 15 hours in, maybe you're still learning things about that map. You're still learning systems. You're still like finding mini games and stuff. And once that stuff is finally kind of like, okay, you have the whole map, because you can go, I'd say like 3/4 of that map right out the gate. There's some areas that are locked off, but the only issue is like, there's level 50 enemies at the north side of the map. And so you can like, if you really wanted to sneak your way around, you could, but it's like, okay, I get it. I'm working my way up this city. But once you kind of start unlocking the fast travel points everywhere, you have all the systems down, the property management, the other mini games, it gets a lot more open.
Okay.
But there's still definitely chunks of like, here's an hour and a half of miscellaneous cutscenes.
I mean, I don't have a problem with that. Like, that's probably the best part of the game. It's just, I kind of want to just go play it right now.
You're real good at mahjong, Brad.
What's that?
You're real good at mahjong.
Yeah, like I stumbled into a mahjong parlor and immediately was just like, oh, does this have anything to do with them streaming mahjong all of a sudden?
I like that when you go to every mahjong place has a certain level of difficulty associated with it, but then in each place, each table individually has a difficulty. So like the worst mahjong parlor and the worst people, if you talk to them, they're like, hey, do you want to play mahjong with us? We're really bad, but it's fun anyway. And then but if you go to the elite parlors, they're like, are you sure you want to play with us? We're mahjong masters. And you're like, and sure enough, I sat down. And I'm like, oh, I know how to play Mahjong. I've streamed it 4 or 5 times at this point, and I sat down and got my ass completely kicked.
Oh, that was not the run.
It was not. I think I chomboed out, dude.
Oh, dude, no.
Yeah,
chombo.
Speaking of not the run, I'm just on top of my segues today. Put a little time into Super Meat Boy Forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's that going?
I put
sounds
like
you
30 minutes.
Sounds like you do know.
That's about how far in I got. I got to the end of the first world. Did you fight that boss?
I didn't fight the boss. I got to the boss.
Okay. Oh yeah. I didn't beat the boss. I fought it a few times, and I was like, I'm gonna not play this anymore.
30 seconds in, that game does not feel great.
I mean, like, the controls are okay. Like, it's responsive enough and everything, but like, I just like, why an auto runner in 2020?
Especially associated with Super Meat Boy, which to me is like the ultimate. Like, you play most Super Meat Boy levels by holding one direction and running as fast as you can and trying to get around the obstacles, but you've lost like 80% of your movement options in this game.
Right, like you're totally right. Like, you are constantly moving forward in original Meat Boy, but you need the option to not. Like, you need to be able to not do that when you want. Like, basically making this game an auto runner adds this puzzle layer of like, well, I can't stop, so I have to juggle which direction I'm going by jumping off walls and like reversing course. Like, you have to think like 3 moves ahead of like, okay, I need to wall jump there, and there to reverse myself to get over this obstacle. Like, it's just taking that level of control away from you just feels like it's not what I want out of Meat Boy at this point.
No, and I like the occasional auto runner. I am one of the few people in the world that liked that Super Mario jump phone game. I would play it on the bus, and I'm like, this is a decent game I can play with one hand on the bus, standing up on the fucking 38, crowded as hell, and I'm just like wiggling this around, and it was fine, and like I got all the toads or whatever. But like, it's something about, it's just so hard to disassociate Meat Boy with like precision control. That was one of the first games I ever played that I was just like, I mean, it was the big Maso Core game for a reason, is because the controls were tight and the level design was incredible.
And then the respawn was instantaneous. Like, everything about it was so snappy and responsive. Yeah. You reminded me just now when you said that like, I think this game actually did start as a mobile runner, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if it's
I feel like, hasn't this game been in development for like a super long time? Like,
very long time.
Did it start? Do you guys know before or after? I completely blank on the name. The main designer left.
Edmund Miller?
He left. He left like right after Isaac came out or something, right? I'm
not sure, something like that. I think.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out if this actually ended up coming out on mobile or not.
I believe it's only Switch and PC or like the Epic Store for now, right?
I think you're right. Maybe it is still coming to mobile. Yeah, announced in 2014 as a mobile-only sequel.
Announced in 2014.
Yeah. Damn. I mean, just that mobile-only part, for me, it's like, this could kind of work on phones as a runner. I mean, it still wouldn't be amazing, but like, at least it makes more sense there. But like, once it's on console and you've got a D-pad and stuff, to not really be able to use it.
Well, I think like runners kind of came into and out of vogue over that time, right? In 2014, a mobile runner made a lot more sense.
Totally.
There have always been what's the Captain video games?
Commander Video,
BitTrip Runner, and all that
stuff.
Trip.
The BitTrip games have kind of always popped up here and there, and that's like, it's like, oh yeah, that's the runner series. They've always been runners. Fine, cool. I mean, you said runners came out of vogue, but you're forgetting the Bubsy runner that came out like 2 years ago and took the nation by storm.
Well, I mean, and Meme Run 2, I think, came out just last year, didn't it? So
it did.
There's still a deep well to be dug there for more of that, right?
Like, I've played some of those BitTrip games. Like, what was the last one that came out on Switch? Was that Runner 3?
It was Runner 3. They dropped the BitTrip. I think they're just calling it Runner 3 now.
I think you're right, but like, I mean, those at least feel like runners that are designed as runners, whereas this feels like a runner designed as a Meat Boy game, if that makes sense. Like the level design is out of Super Meat Boy 1.
Is it procedural? Is there
actually,
a procedural aspect of that?
I guess it is, but yeah, because there's a seed option at the beginning when you start. So I guess it is procedural, but still the components of the levels are a bunch of buzzsaws and wall slides and all that kind of shit that's straight out of a Super Meat Boy that you want like fine ass control.
Do you think someone who just hadn't played original Meat Boy and came to this fresh would just like not have that expectation though? I mean, I like Super Meat Boy was such a game at that time, such a standout that's going to cast a long shadow. But
maybe it's been like a decade almost since Super Meat Boy came out. Like I barely remember that game.
Longer.
Also, like some people mentioned in the chat that Edmund McMillan put out. What was that game he put out? The End is Nigh. Game? Came out 2-3 years ago. That is like also a Masocore platformer, Meat Boy-ish kind of game. Like I didn't think that game was incredible either.
Yeah,
I like that game a lot. Actually,
it's not bad. It's okay. Like I would play it over this, but like I don't think either one of them is like an amazingly worthy successor to Super Meat Boy. I guess is what I'm saying. Like
sure.
Like the idea that he was the one that made Meat Boy good and he left, so this is not amazing. It doesn't really hold up for me because he also went off and made one of these games, and it's just kind of fine to me.
Yeah. It's just I think it's just a weird game that not a lot of people were asking for. I don't even think a lot of people were asking for a regular sequel to Super Meat Boy at this point. It's far enough removed that like, let alone an auto runner. I don't know.
Yeah, there was definitely a time for that, and maybe that time.
Also, no Danny B music is a huge.
Well, I mean, you want to get into like that part of it, like even those console versions of a regular Super Meat Boy, fuck that up. So
I played 10-15 minutes of the PS4 port of Meat Boy, and I was like, you know what? Without the music, it's just not the same, and I put it down. Y'all got any other games you want to hit?
I've been dabbling here and there with a bunch of different stuff, but like the thing I'm just kind of getting into that I want to spend some more time with is Tesla Force from 10 Tons. It's the Crimson Land developers that did Tesla versus Lovecraft, which was like a pretty good Crimson Land style, or like a dual joystick shootery type of thing, but on PC it's like more like mouse and keyboard version of that. And so they took that framework and some of those same power-ups and that story and style of like you're playing as Tesla and all that other stuff, and fighting Lovecraftian horrors and turned it into sort of a roguelite sort of thing. I'm just getting started on it, but I really liked Tesla versus Lovecraft, and so I'm looking forward to seeing kind of what the different kind of flip on this is to make it like a run-based thing.
Is it literally built out of that?
Not cool.
Is it like actually built from that first game, like same assets and everything?
It's similar stuff. I don't know. I don't know that it's necessarily the same assets, but like the art style is very similar. I would not be shocked to see if things were carried over from one game to the other.
These particle effects for all the Tesla cannon stuff look fantastic.
Yeah, it's a neat looking game. It's got a neat style to it for sure. So, but I don't know. Yeah, something about like, hey, we took and I don't know if this is the game per se, but like, hey, we took Tesla versus Lovecraft and made it like a run based, procedurally generated, endless thing. Like, might not be great, but I'm curious. I've Crimson Land I think is like an all time fucking great game, and so I will always look and see what 10 Tons is doing, or not 10 Tons. Yeah. To see what they're up to, but yeah, I don't know. I haven't played enough of this one way or the other, but that's kind of what I'm looking to get into next.
Cool. Jan, how's your break? You got anything you want to?
Oh, here is our Pokemon Go update.
Oh,
the first one of 2021. My partner did it. She reached level 40 before the end of the year.
Woo!
I think last time I talked about it, the math seemed impossible and she'd have to do 150 raids. But then we found a couple other ways to circumvent that. So I think I
jailbreak my phone and then
almost. She was so close to thinking about like, what if I just become a spoofer? I was like, no, we can't do it. You can't do it that way. We have to do it legit.
we almost real quick fell into that with Animal Crossing. We missed the Toy Day presents, and my partner was like, my friends are telling me to time travel. I'm like, we can't do it. We can't, because once you break that seal, you cannot unbreak it.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. And I told her, like, we can't do that because then we'd become more terrible people than we already are.
Extra horrible.
Extra horrible. There was one day where catching Pokemon, the XP was doubled. So then if you crack open a lucky egg, which already doubles your XP, you're quadrupling your XP. So then we found a spot in the city where we could just park the car and we would just sit in the car for like maybe an hour. This was how I spent my break. I should have been catching up on games. I sat in my fucking car in the city. It's actually near the office where occasionally a Chansey or a Snorlax would spawn, and it's easy to get an excellent throw. And an excellent throw will guarantee you at least 2,000 XP. So then the math there, we would wind up getting like 8 to 10,000 per catch, which is equivalent to doing one 5-star raid unboosted. So she would just pass me her phone, and I would just sit there waiting for a fucking Snorlax or like a big Pokemon, and then get the excellent throw. And then if a raid would pop up, she'd join the raid with a remote pass.
Did you ever mess up the excellent throw?
Oh, 100.
Or is that like so unlock? Okay. That's good to know, because at the height of Pokemon Go, I was surprised how often I would fuck it up.
Dude, yeah. I got to unlock with a Magmar, Snorlax, a Chansey, and a Zubat of all the Pokemon.
Zubat?
Yeah. Oh no, did I freeze?
I love that you've been frozen for this entire monologue because you're just like a wartime correspondent over the phone. We just got a still image of you while you were reporting from.
What I'm hearing is that you found a Pokemon Go loot cave.
Actually, yeah, we found a Pokemon loot alleyway.
The
And
Pokemon Go equivalent of driving that car around the parking garage in Dead Rising 1.
You found a loot cave. It's just that it's the alleyway next to the Yongxing near the office, though.
Yeah, actually. So the other thing she would do when like I needed to go take care of other stuff is, you remember like the little Pokeball thing they sold with Let's Go?
Yeah.
If you hook it up to your account, it'll auto spin Pokestops. So what she would do is, since we're dog sitting, she would walk around the cemetery nearby, because the cemetery, all the headstones have little Pokemon stops. So she'd walk the dog around for like an hour or so, and then she'd wind up getting XP because the ball would be auto spinning it as she's catching Pokemon at the same time. We came up with a system, is what I'm saying, and I'm not proud of it. And we got her to 40, and it was big deal. And then we looked at my account, and like I'm at like 36, and it was like the cutoff for getting the cool Gyarados hat was January 1st, and I think she hit 40 on the 28th of December. And we looked at my account and was like, well, there's no fucking way. There's no fucking way unless I'm doing this 24 hours a day, and I'd have to drop so much fucking money.
Unless you're sleeping in that alleyway.
As you know, who knows? I could have asked the youth to take over my account and run the streets.
Yeah,
God,
I feel like there's some app for that, right?
Totally.
Just like go like task rabbit someone to fucking level up your Pokemon Go account. That's the stage of
the gig economy.
We're in. Yes, the gig. Yes, the gig. The gig economy. Yes.
Prop 22 failed, so I guess anything goes now.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Like.
But
here's $2 and I'll threaten you with a knife. Now go level my Pokemon Go account. That's California now.
But I asked her, it's like, hey, how much money have you dropped in this? Because for Christmas I gave her like a $50 gift card for like the iTunes store, and I thought like, oh, that'll be a good boost for you. And then she looked at me and she was like, well, I used to have to do this thing where I'd go to Costco, because Costco would sell like a bulk deal of gift cards. But then they stopped doing that. And then I had to look up this fucking bulk deal of gift cards, and they would sell $100 worth of gift cards for $80. And then I asked her, how many times did you do that? And then she quickly changed the subject and dropped it. But we're at level 40, baby. And the climb to 41 begins.
You did it.
And the climb to 41 seems like you'd have to drop more money, which I'm not about.
Weird. Who could have foreseen that's how it would go?
Yeah.
Well, hey, at least you can feel secure that you picked the right augmented reality game because they just announced they're shutting down Minecraft Earth.
Oh no, is it because I burned down the demo town at E3 once?
Yeah, all the time that they were going to spend making that game good. Once you did that, they were like, "We need to fix this." And so they all spent time fixing what you
built
did.
This town.
Damn it!
I didn't even know that thing launched. I thought it was still in some kind of test phase.
I installed it when we were still in the office. I installed it and then tried it out a couple of times, and just it never made much sense to me, like what I was supposed to do. Like it felt like the onboarding, like the process of like telling you what you're supposed to do in that game. It never clicked for me. I wasn't ever sure, like what is walking up the block to this thing going to get me? Like why am I building? Where am I building? Mm-hmm. Like it just parts that just didn't line up. I don't know.
Yeah, it was a little confusing as to you could build stuff in the real world, but you also had your own little play sets or tile sets
right.
that you could open up for people to build on. But some of those were like public or private, so your friends could build on them, or they could just be vandalized, which was great.
Or I think you could take your almost use your private thing as like a prefab and plop it down places.
Yes.
It's strange.
Mm-hmm.
Like it seemed like a cool idea. Like hearing them describe it, I was like, well, of course, this sounds great. But it just never, I don't know. Like the game never seemed to line up with what they were describing it as.
Was it like open beta or?
No, it launched. Like I got into it, I think like I got some test flight build of it a month or so before it came out, but it did eventually come out proper. I'm pretty sure it did. Yeah. They launched like early 20. It was like the first quarter of last year, I think.
Well, now it's about to uncome out, sadly.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
it's about to unrelease.
Yeah, that's how it goes sometimes. If
I'm going to play Minecraft, go on.
Yeah, I just say it will be one of the games that we can consider when we get to Game of the Year in a couple of weeks here.
True. That's right.
Yeah, we're choosing the 2021 Game of the Year.
That's right. I started to say Super Meat Boy Forever, but that didn't even come out this year. I don't even know what's eligible for 2021 Game of the Year at this point.
We can just call our shot and say Madden.
Yeah,
Madden 21.
Yeah,
that's right.
I mean,
I was sitting here
coming out.
We need to talk about our Game of the Year plan, and I'm second guessing myself because I've got all these details in my head, and I'm trying to figure out like which ones are we definitely sure we're committing to, and which ones are still
we're definitely.
But
doing
the dates,
some video.
Yeah,
we'll be live streaming. We'll be live streaming Game of the Year.
Do it live, motherfuckers.
Categories.
Yes, starting the 18th of this month, we will be doing live Game of the Year deliberations
for the first time. Game of the Year brought to you live
for the entirety of the week.
Ass
for the whole week.
We're going to have chat interfaced live stream over all of our faces so you can participate.
You pick the Game of the Year via the innovative poll system.
We've each weighted ourselves different percentages of the vote. Jan has 80% of the vote. Jan is the key to Game of the Year. The rest of us have like 4 or 5, maybe. Chat has like 3 or 5.
All the people watching, you send me enough cheers. Game of the Year can be whenever you want.
That's right.
Put it out there. We will be doing that.
Bits coming.
We will be doing that live starting on the 18th, hopefully concluding on the 22nd, end of that week.
Yeah, hopefully concluding on Friday.
Yes.
What if we don't finish it in that week?
Then we keep going the following week. Like that's the thing.
We have to finish it.
If we look at what we've got, I guess we have to finish it, don't we? Yes, it would
be ideal.
Yeah.
Yes, that will likely be the majority of our content for that week, which hopefully is understandable.
Yes. Yeah. We're gonna have some categories. We're gonna have a top 10. That stuff will be the same.
Yes. Or maybe a top 20.
Or No.
We
talked
a top 100. Like what? No.
All right, we're gonna rank every game that came out in 2020.
We're gonna spend 45 minutes on each game,
starting right now. Number 1,
yeah. Duke Nukem. Wait, Minecraft Earth.
RTX.
We're gonna choose a game of the year. We're gonna choose 10 games of the year, and then one winner.
And then we'll have our own personal games of the year.
Yes.
Yeah.
In addition.
Yes, guest lists, all that stuff. But anyway, we at least wanted to put out the basic schedule into the public consciousness.
Did you say the dates?
Yes.
Yes, the 18th.
18th is when we'll start that.
Of January.
We determined that yesterday. So
yes.
Now that we know, you know.
That's right. They know what we know.
Yeah.
Jeff, before we go to break, where did you land on Half-Life Alyx? Like, I feel like I should play some more of that. I played it when it came out on my old graphics card, and then was like, I'm going to wait till I get a new graphics card to play more of this. And now I have one.
It's okay.
So I was
It's
back to it.
You know, to me, a lot of that game just turned into it's a horror game in the same way that maybe Half-Life 1 or like Ravenholm, you know, like maybe not in the same way, but like that is a game about you are in a dark space and you hear a head crab and you're like, fuck, I don't know where it is. And then the head crab flies at your face and you knock it away with something you're holding or whatever. And you shoot the head crab and move on to the next.
Did you finish it?
No, I did not. I kind of like it. The other thing I'll say is I did not find it very much fun to play in a not room scale environment, like playing seated in this tight space. It was just kind of a pain in the ass, but what it does really well. Like that aspect of like, yo, it's dark and there's a head crab flying at your face. It sucks. You're like, that's fucked up, man.
Yeah, that sounds both kind of awesome and also maybe not something I want to deal with. I don't know. That might be too much for me.
Yeah, but like that's kind of what that game turns into, you know, kind of when you after you get armed up and move forward, like it gets
you just
dark.
need like a panic button that you can press and it just ejects the VR headset from your head.
Well, the panic button is just take the damn headset off.
Yeah,
but
you can make it a big button.
Headset and hurl it across the room.
Yeah, there's like early parts of that. There's early parts of that game's tutorial where you are like crawling around on a rooftop and getting around and doing some of this other stuff that, like, especially playing seated, sucked. Like, the mobility stuff. Like that game was built to take advantage of a full-fledged VR setup, and playing it on an Oculus Quest, sitting in this chair, it just was not the right way to play that game.
I got 2-3 chapters into it back when it came out, and yes, sitting down for that was not ideal. I'm looking behind me here. I've probably got like at most like a 5x8 space, if I'm lucky, more like 5x6 or something.
Yeah.
Move around in 4x6. Like, I don't know if that's enough, but it's something. I'm gonna give it another shot.
Try like this. I tried doing it in this space, standing, and move the chair out of the way, and ended up just punching everything in this room. It's just not big enough.
That's what I'm worried about. But like,
you know, so it's a case of just like I don't know what, you know, like VR games should probably just be VR games and be full-fledged VR games, but at the same time, that's only gonna, like, it's already a limited, like, you already have to jump through a lot of hoops to play a VR game. And then to be like, also, if you're not playing it in the full-on standing large environment, it is not as good of a game. Like, that was really frustrating. But I get it. Like, they should make a flagship VR game, and I'm sure if you are in that setup, then it's probably the act of like blocking a head crab from coming at your face, I'm sure, is a lot more interesting or easier, because you're just standing and you just step out of the fucking way and shoot it. Whereas like seated, it was a little more like, I gotta, you know, and that just sucked. It just was not, you know, not the right way to play that game. And so I did not have a particularly good time with it.
I'm going to give it another shot, and standing this time, of course, because the idea of showing up to Game of the Year without having played like most of a new Half-Life game, it's just completely insane to me.
I mean, I think that speaks to just like the interest in VR more than anything else. Like, you're right, it is crazy, but also like that's the game they made, you know? Like they made a VR only game, and hey, someone needs to like more people need to make VR only games if you want VR to be a thing. But
Yeah.
That's also like understandably going to limit the number of people that are ever going to see it. So whatever.
Sure. Yakuza and Half-Life Alyx. That's my weekend coming up. All right. Well, that's our Game of the Year plan anyway. Stay tuned for that. Please look forward to it. But first, please look forward to us taking this quick break. We'll be right back.
Let's get real. They say a goal is a dream that you wrote down. What do they say? They say a dream is a goal that hasn't been written down yet. Well, write this down. Get a pad. Get a pen. Get a pen. Ron Silverstyle. Get a pen. Squarespace. Write that down. Squarespace. Squarespace makes it easier than ever to launch your passion project. Whatever you're trying to do. You're looking to start a new business, showcase your work, publish some stuff, sell some stuff, whatever. Squarespace is the tool for you. They've got beautiful templates created by world-class designers, and you can customize just about anything with only a few clicks. So you can easily make a beautiful website all by yourself and sell things. That's right. Squarespace has powerful e-commerce functionality built right in. They've got analytics built right in. You can look at the numbers, tweak things, look at the numbers some more, tweak things some more. It's all optimized for mobile. You don't have to patch or upgrade anything. They'll even help you buy a domain. And if you run into any issues, customer support is there for you 24/7. Squarespace is empowering millions of people across all walks of life to turn great ideas into something real. Join the millions today. Head to squarespace.com/bombcast for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use the offer code BOMBCAST to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. That's squarespace.com/bombcast, and the offer code is Bombcast.
And we're back.
Hello, we're back.
We're back. Joined by a special guest.
Annie, the dog puke champion of the world.
This dog, fresh off of barfing, has joined us on the podcast.
Great.
So my adoption has a narrow trachea, which is apparently a common problem with certain small dogs, where if she drinks too much water, which is 5 to 6 sips in 30 seconds, it just goes right back on the floor.
Just water?
Water.
Does it
water
collect
and there's saliva and maybe like a crumb, whatever she's got stored in her cheeks.
Okay. It's not like we're not talking like entirety of the stomach contents coming back up.
No. Once or twice it has been that severe, and it usually doesn't happen, but I don't have an eye on her right now, and if she gets near that water bowl, she just can't help herself.
I had to handle a full stomach emptying last night.
Sick.
You feeling better?
Yeah. Yes. No, the baby is teething as they do off and on forever, apparently, as they are always growing teeth. I think she'll have like several thousand by the time we're done. And I guess when that is at its peak, when the teething is at its peak, there's a lot of saliva involved, and sometimes that can lead to vomiting. And so she had been really good about not throwing up for a really long time. And then last night, I have a little camera, and we put her down, and then I go eat dinner, and I'm sitting there looking at a microwave, and I see her start to move a little bit, and it's like, oh well, she'll move and go back to sleep, it'll be fine. And then just like sits up and she's awake. I'm like, okay, that's way more serious. And then it happened, and there was a lot of cleanup and crying and a lot of stuff, and it was a lot more than you would think would fit inside a baby.
It's gotta put up one of those shop floor signs. It has been 0 days since the last regurgitation.
Yeah. It had been a month or more, actually. She'd been really good about not throwing up for a really long time. But yeah, no, she was very unhappy about it. But then as soon as we changed everything and said like, hey, it's okay, it's chill, she was like, cool, all right, good, and just passed out and went back to sleep. You
can't really blame her.
No, of course not. No, definitely not.
It's wasn't experience. I don't think anybody
I mean, I don't remember what it was like, but the idea of just like, hey, you're going to grow teeth through your gums for the first time, and it's going to tear in there, and it's going to that sounds fucking terrible.
The vomiting part. I think that.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, the vomiting, whatever. That's the sooner you get used to that, the better you get at it, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh boy. Well, on that note, Advertising.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, we got a new we signed this. I don't know. We've changed ad partners, which is maybe not, it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but the upshot of it is we have not had ads for a lot of months as we've been going through that all the other stuff.
That's
Oops,
right.
What?
It's B-Man.
What?
That wasn't me.
Sorry. Sorry.
Emails.
For a second, I was like, "What has Ben doing?" And then I looked at his face, and I was like, "Wait, his lips aren't moving. What is?"
Did everyone's video freeze? Anyway,
the voices in my head are leaking out.
Yeah.
Huh.
Bad when that happens.
The playlist I had going on in the background.
Oh, no worries. It happens.
And I'm still frozen. Wonderful.
That's right.
Great VMix day.
Because live this is what you get as a Giant Bomb Premium member with a peek behind the scenes.
Yes, so that's
Bombcast production process.
It's not a V mix, it's a B mix.
Oh
no. So two things with that. One, yeah, there's going to be ads on the show again on I guess like hopefully a somewhat regular basis. That's the idea. And as part of that, like, you know, the live version that you see here is the production process of the show, and as a result, it ends up having the ads in it. Though, if you were watching live and you heard the ad play with a bunch of Slack notifications in it, Jan has to fix that after the show this week. Yeah. So two things on that, and actually kind of solves the Twitch problem we were talking about earlier. Is New Year, we're going to take the podcast, the live version of the podcast, and we're going to make that premium only again. We took that out and made it free for everybody when the pandemic started as part of our, like, hey, we're just going to live stream everything all the time and get on Twitch and do all that stuff. And, you know, kind of as we things start returning to normal, what the fuck is normal? But, you know, as we start kind of getting back into the swing of things for the new year, next week, the live version of the show will be a premium members show, but you will still see those ads because it's part of the production process. Like, those ads kind of have to go in there at time of recording. We kind of go live to tape for this stuff. And that's just kind of the normal part of the process. The archive versions, as normal, will not have ads for premium members. That's, you know, that's how it's always been.
Baking those in at time of recording is conducive to the production process.
When we don't do that, it delays all versions of the show by several hours.
Yes, the show go up way later.
Or realistically, like a day. Like, we don't. It's not more.
Video rendering and such. Right. But yeah,
and also, like you said, it's basically just a return to business as usual from before all of this started. So
yeah, trying to get there, and we're all trying to get back to whatever normal is in whatever way we can.
Yes, whatever that may be.
Yes. That means I get emails from the local supermarket chain saying vaccines are coming soon, with not that many more details, but still way more detail than I've gotten from any.
Wait, did they do that?
Yes, I got a fucking email from
what?
Like, it sucks because it is the most like coherent and like concise. Because, like, the thing I've been wondering for a while now is just like, well, you know, I know it's not soon because, like, what the fuck, who am I? But, like, I wonder, what is the plan for, like, when might I get vaccinated? What are the plans for this sort of stuff? Like, what's going on? And, like, I couldn't really find any good information about that because obviously this thing it's a mess, and it's still a mess. But then I just got an email from the local supermarket that says, like, COVID-19 vaccine, coming soon, in all caps. And it was like, hey, here's how this process might work. You'll come in. The staff has been trained up and all. And it was this like really like well done email about like, here's what we know so far or whatever, like a version of that. And I was like, oh, that's great. It's great to actually get something, to get some kind of information. It's really kind of fucked up that I have to get it from the local chain fucking supermarket, but that's America. I don't know. So let's get, do I bump up the list if I buy a 3080? Do I get like a copy of Call of Duty and a vaccine? There's like something like that.
Tier 3 subs get first access. If you give 40 subs, you're moved up the queue. It's a whole.
Okay.
Start crunching that Bitcoin. It'll Get you up there.
Fuck.
All right.
I've got some lumens. I signed up for Keybase a while back, and they gave me some lumens, which is apparently some kind of coin. I don't know. It's probably worthless. Last time I looked, it was like $100, and I was like, okay, I guess that's more than the zero I had, but this still sounds like a bunch of fake money. I don't know.
It's time for crypto bills yet. Everybody's still on that coin.
I know, right?
Like somebody would be walking around like swaggering about their fat crypto stacks or something.
That's right.
The thing is, it's all got to be like on a card. You know, you have to have like a silver. Like,
I mean, the coins aren't even real. Like, what's the upshot of the coin though? Is like, okay, are we?
Like, coins aren't real. Are we real?
No, I'm glad you asked. Like, are we trying to evoke some Scrooge McDuck vault diving type shit by talking about coins?
As opposed to someone waxing about their crypto Benjamins or something.
Right. Yes.
Making it crypto rain.
Yes, that's right.
Crypto rain sounds like a really good 0 day that I'm going to use to get into all y'all's wallets and take all y'all's crypto coins. And then, yes, get a bunch of tech with it, tech war style. I'm going to stream some DOS games on the site sometime in the next near future here, and we are going to attempt to play. We should sit down as a group and just watch all the cutscenes from William Shatner's Tech War, the video game.
Okay,
I'd love
because if you like William Shatner looking just off camera enough to read a teleprompter,
is he in that game?
Before every mission he comes on is just like, you need to get out there and get Janus. He's in the streets doing this thing, and it's just like,
what are we talking like? Is it like a TJ Hooker era Shatner?
This is like a 90s. This is post TJ Hooker. That was 80s.
I guess
this is CD-ROM era. So it is a fascinating video game in some ways, probably, but because he
didn't even write the book. Like somebody wrote the book.
Yeah, he did. Yes, but didn't he come up with the idea of whatever the idea was? I don't actually know what the idea of Tech War is, other than
he also came up with the idea for a Star Trek novel that brought Kirk back to life, and also made him like the savior of the galaxy. Because of course he did.
I mean, they lean into that. I'm watching Deep Space Nine, and there's the whole parallel universe where like Kirk caused some sort of time thing, and so he's looked upon as a hero. I think they definitely treat Kirk as like almost a god.
So does Shatner, it turns out.
Yeah.
That's like the weird, like, what is that? Because that's like, obviously, like, author, like, self-inserts happen all the time, but what happens when it's like you writing a character that you literally play? And like, I guess that's just you trying to make sure that you get future work and hoping that the book takes off enough that it's gotta go to series.
Sure. Might be a little more compulsive in his case. I don't know. He was not well liked by the rest of that cast.
No. Yeah.
Anyway.
He's landed on that aircraft carrier, though, for the Comic-Con thing.
True. Man, we were talking about Bitcoin, and that would have been a good cyberpunk segue into the first news story, but then we started talking about William Shatner. I guess Tech War is...
You can just say, speaking of Bitcoin, my memory is not that good. I was assuming we were just talking
Speaking
about
of Tech War...
Tech War is pretty cyberpunk-ish.
It has the Matrix in it. You literally go into the Matrix.
Okay, then. Well, in that case, let's get into the news here, because the first story is about Cyberpunk being sued by CD Projekt's investors.
There it is.
Right.
Man. Right on time.
Authoritative sounding music there. Music?
I don't like that.
Music.
No, I don't either.
It was a Portman blow.
Yes, that's right. Wow. Boy. Did you guys touch on this in that last episode before the break? I think it happened right around then, but like
I don't know. I think I don't think anything had been filed yet, but there was definitely, we were getting to that point where it was coming up more frequently in a way that you're like, someone's eventually going to file this.
Sure did. Yes, suit has been filed in a California court, basically alleging that CD Projekt misled its investors about the state of the game, specifically citing those last-gen versions and the game being pulled from sale. And let's see. They use the phrase virtually unplayable in the suit to describe the state of the last gen game.
Yeah,
so that's about where they're at.
So what that means is playable. Right?
Sure.
I mean, virtually unplayable technically just means
because it is playable.
Yeah, it is.
But they have to make it sound.
It was. But yes.
Yeah. Yeah, they cite that. I'm sure you guys probably remember that quote that was going around early last year, like close to a year ago at this point, where it was really like my interpretation of that quote was that it was fairly benign. They were basically just saying the game was content complete when they got out there and were like, hey, it's playable from start to finish. Like, I feel like you hear that all the time in development, right? Of developers saying like, hey, the whole game is there. We can play through it now. Like,
and that's not to say it is free from bugs and all that other stuff. That's not what that means. It just means like, hey, the content is in there. Obviously, we still need to iron it out and fix stuff, but like we're done plugging things into the video game. We just need to like get it all working, which that's the part they didn't do.
Right. But yes, be that as it may, the people behind this lawsuit have seized on that public statement as being misleading and false.
I think I would look at more. I guess that wasn't a statement. Was that something that was like an email that leaked out? That maybe
that might be what it was actually.
The thing that where they were basically like it was the heads of the studio kind of apologizing for not taking greater care with those versions of the game and not showing that version of the game pre-release and all that other stuff. So like that to me is the part where it is. I would look at that and think like, hey, this is something that is maybe a little more deceptive to investors. As well as consumers, when it comes to those versions of the game, seizing on when they seize onto language from the content complete stuff, that is them misinterpreting, whether deliberately or otherwise, like misinterpreting what that means in a game development context. That like, when they say stuff like that, but and maybe that needs to change the same way the fucking. When people show games too early and then take out reflections and puddles, people get pissed off, and now they're like, well, now we're just not going to show as much stuff. We're going to be extra guarded because now we have this weird liability, and now people have even less access to games in the game industry, and now it just becomes even more secretive because people are. That just seems like a bad faith thing to hang your lawsuit on, and maybe they're like, oh, well, in discovery, maybe that email to staff or whatever that other statement will be, that to me is more salacious, or there's more to hang on there, but I ain't a fucking lawyer. I don't know.
Yeah. Nor am I, but they are seeking damages on behalf of their investors. I guess they have applied for class action status, but as of late December, doesn't look like it had been granted. So who knows where this is going. But I guess there's like no sign of that game coming back to PSN or the PlayStation Store. Like they haven't said a word, have they? Since they
it's been patched multiple times. They're up to like what version 106 or something like that now.
That's the last one I saw.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know what state the game is in currently. But yeah, I don't know. Like a lot of these, like an investor lawsuits and that sort of stuff seems like a weird. That's a weird one to hang a lawsuit on, I guess, that part of that statement. But
I have no idea what the chances of this suit succeeding are, but I don't know, like when Sony pulled that game, like what impression did you guys get about how long it would be? Like I felt like when I saw that, I was like, it'll be back in a couple weeks.
Like they'll fix it.
Right.
Whatever that takes.
Right. I think
like maybe a month at the outside was what I felt like, but who knows if this
until they get the PS5 version, the official PS5 version out, maybe.
So yeah, I guess in Sony's case, they sell separate versions for PS4 and PS5, so they could put a PS5 only version on sale and feel good about that. But who knows when that is?
Yeah, I would have guessed like a month. I think if someone had asked then how long is this off, I would have said like, oh, they work really hard on patches for a month, and then it probably gets to a place where Sony can at least say, hey, we're going to sell it again.
Right.
But I wonder how like Sony can't be happy about being forced to give a bunch of refunds, as they are not necessarily set up to do that. Which is, I think that part of that is kind of on them. And I'm sure as partners, they don't like being maybe thrown under the bus a little bit by some of that refund stuff that CD Projekt Red put out. So you have to wonder if some of this is like them going the extra mile to be like,
yeah, we'll put it back up when we get around to it.
Yeah, we'll put it back up when you guys fix it. Keep working, I guess. I don't actually know.
Chat just reminded me that CD Projekt did put out that statement at one point that they had big updates in. Well, actually, it was like an investor call. I think January and February they would have like big substantive updates. So maybe that February update is the one or something like that. I don't know. But at that point, like, has the world moved on by February?
Yes. Like, it depends, right?
I mean, look at Witcher 3. That's a game that had a really long life.
Yeah,
like, obviously the launch wasn't nearly as troubled as Cyberpunk's, but like, if they make good on Cyberpunk, there are enough people that already really like that game that know how it's flawed that can, in 6 months be like, look, these were the biggest problems with the game. They fixed these. You should go back and check it out. It's actually worth checking out.
But like what we're talking about there, the reason why The Witcher had a long tail and all that other stuff is because they added stuff to it in a more meaningful way. And so
I'm sure once they fix the Cyberpunk stuff, they'll add to it though. Right.
Yes, totally. But like, we're still in that window of just like, there's still probably a lot to fix. And then they have to bring it to new consoles. And then maybe they get back around to like, oh, we've got a bunch of new content to finish up and make, and we'd better make sure it's good. But like, the comparisons to Witcher 3, I think, are really, they don't fit in a lot of cases. I think what you're saying, like, I think makes sense. But generally speaking, people saying like, oh, well, it's, I love The Witcher 3. And it's like, oh, if you don't like The Witcher 3, then of course you don't like this game, which some people said to me, but like, these games are
before you even played it.
Yeah, exactly. Like these games are so dramatically different. I mean, I'll tell you this, I think Cyberpunk is better than The Witcher 3 from terms of like the story and the theoretical gameplay. If they got that patched up to a point where it was as polished as it should be, I would much rather play Cyberpunk than The Witcher 3. But I also recognize that I think everything I've seen about The Witcher 3 from a storytelling and depth of story and all that other stuff is far better. So like, people can disagree with that all day long, and I'm sure they do, and they can fuck off. I don't care. Like, I just didn't like The Witcher 3. But that doesn't, like, Cyberpunk is such a different game that it just doesn't, like, it's just not that meaningful of a comparison. So you can look at it from the perspective of just like, well, here's what they did to give The Witcher 3 such a long lifespan post-release. But a lot of that has to come from new content, because especially with a game like Cyberpunk, like, you will have a lot of people right now that have finished that game, and like, they can fix all they want. It doesn't matter. Like, I'm not like, those decisions got made. I made the choices that my version of that character would make. And I don't care if they go back and fix it so it's not buggy. I saw credits. There's not much left in that game that I want to go back and see from a side quest perspective. And the ones that I do want to see involve me playing a different character, because they're like romance option related. So it would be like having to start over from scratch, which I'm definitely not going to do. So like, the idea that like they're going to fix this game, like, I think there is an aspect, and there will be people that hold off, or people that buy it later and get a better experience or whatever. And that's, they should fix the game. But I think for a lot of players, that ship has sailed, because now, like, over this holiday break, a lot of people probably had a lot more time where they're like, I'm just going to finish it, whatever. And it'll be funky and whatever. And the frame rate will be like this here, and this will be that, it'll like, it is what it is. But I have zero desire, like, especially seeing that, like, that it did the thing of, and I guess, the way the story wraps up, it kind of has to do this, but the way it dumps you back into the world, because like you were saying, all open world games must do that, is it dumps you back in right before the point of no return.
That's the way less elegant way to do it, but
yeah. And like I think like that game makes so many choices that are like the less elegant way of doing things, and it makes me wonder, like, at some point in development, that they just go like, all right, we need to start cutting out anything that's not ready. And like, yank out these cutscenes and put in phone calls instead, because we don't have time to do this or this or this or whatever it ends up
being.
I
mean, that's part of project management, right? Is like, you have your list of like, we definitely need this, we would like to have this, and we want this. And with how tumultuous that game's development sounded from all the reporting, it makes sense that they would have to start cutting a lot of things off that list that's not must-have, and even a little bit of stuff that is must-have.
You see all the stuff about like how the AI works in the city and all that other stuff, and just how truly brain dead a lot of the city stuff is.
Yeah, I try not to be too nitpicky about that stuff. I mean, you start getting into like fucking CinemaSins territory of just like
and it's all theoretical because we don't know how that game's development went. I'm just saying like parts of it look like
no. Like I say that to agree with you because I have been looking at some YouTube videos out there of people breaking down like, hey, you don't catch on fire when you stand on top of burning garbage. You know what I mean? Like you stand in the middle of a fire and it doesn't affect your character, or it just kind of hurts you. You know what I mean? Like just lists of shit that seems nitpicky, but on the other hand, it's like, hey, this is stuff that is important to make a game, and especially a big open world, feel like lived in and realistic, to have your character and the AI all interact with each other, and it kind of doesn't have that.
Yeah, and I think that's like, there's a lot of like stuff. Yes, it's a lot of stuff that adds up over time, where you're just like, hey, there's just a lot of stuff here that like, in a better game, in a game where they had more time to give it that level of attention or whatever, like I don't want to speculate too much about what happened or didn't happen, but like you just look at it and go like, for a game that was in development this long, that is this big, that is this, like the budget stuff that has gone around, and for the game they talked about, it sure is missing a lot of that type of stuff. And that it is what it is. So I think this class action lawsuit stuff seems like borderline, like trollish, like ambulance chasing type stuff. But at the same time, I do think there's something to the idea that like they seemed to try to keep people away from those console versions of the game as much as they possibly could. And if that really did extend to investors, then boy, that ain't good.
Yep. Who knows? Maybe Cyberpunk 2077 will be 2021's game of the year. Who can say?
Who knows?
Who can say?
Sure.
Yeah. Pretty thin news week. Obviously, not much happening over the holidays, but I've got a few things here. The PS5. Apparently now, if and only if you have both the PS4 and PS5 version of the same game installed at the same time, it will now, if you boot the PS4 version, say, hey, you're about to play the PS4 version of this game. Do you want to switch to the PS5 one? Which
progress
is progress. Yes, I guess that's the best way to look at it. Incrementalism. They didn't fix the problem, but they added a warning to let you know.
There's one more screen now.
Right. Now there is an extra button to hit before you launch the wrong version of the game.
They probably need to, like, this warning needs to be like a few steps back in terms of like, hey, you are about to download the PS4 version of this.
It was just probably way easier to do this than that for whatever reason.
I'm sure that this is just like, you're probably exactly
like they should make it actively hard to get the PS4 version of a game if you have a PS5 and are trying to get the PS5 version.
Yeah, so I don't know if this has changed because I haven't tried to download a game that is like cross-gen that I have both SKUs for since close to launch. But back then, when you started that download or when you kind of bought the free PS5 version, it instantly started downloads of both versions of the game. I don't know if they've changed that or not, but I'm not sure. That's how people were ending up with PS4 versions of games they didn't want, is that it would download both of them and not tell you that it was doing that.
Yeah, real cool.
Yeah, so I don't know if they've changed that either. But, I mean, if nothing else, this at least shows that they're aware there's a problem.
Yeah, for sure. And you hope that they'll get there with it, right? I mean, they have to understand that is a terrible... Especially when you get into the idea of bandwidth caps and all the other stuff, that this is like, you cannot do this to people. This is fucked.
Like I think I mentioned it when I went to redeem the Borderlands 3 PS5 upgrade, it started downloading both versions of Borderlands 3, which was like 150 gigabytes, which is like a fourth of the PS5 storage space.
And I want to say it maybe not for Borderlands specifically, but I know there were some games that had like different versions of the DLC for each version as well. So
it was exactly that. Yes, it was bad.
Yeah, that's a bad. And sometimes you get to that store page and they aren't even clearly labeled. Like, is this DLC for the PS5 or is this DLC for the PS4 or it's just that stuff is messed up. That stuff
It's
bad.
a mess. It's a mess. In other PlayStation news, so this is I tried to track this down and confirm the extent of this story, and it was a little tough. There's some new stuff coming out this morning, but Japanese retailers have started posting notices that a bunch of different versions of the PS4 have been discontinued from production. And originally, the stuff that was coming out was like it was like kind of special side consoles, like unique colors and like bigger drive sizes and stuff like that. Like the lists, it was like the Glacier White 500 gigabyte PS4,
right?
Like the Glacier White PS4 Pro, the 2 terabyte black regular PS4, stuff like that. Like not the main SKUs. And that's coming out of Japanese retail stores. But then a site's Game Watch, I guess is the name of this website in Japan. Game.watch.impress.co.jp. Are you familiar with that site?
Game Watch I think has been around forever.
Okay. I thought they were legit, but I wasn't 100% sure. And this story is in Japanese, which I had Google translated. But as of this morning, they are saying that the PS4 Pro top to bottom has been discontinued.
Oof.
From production. Pro?
Yes, the entirety of the Pro. They've got screenshots of the PlayStation homepage in Japan, like the Japanese version of the PlayStation homepage, where they have scrubbed the PS4 Pro from the PlayStation 4 product page, and it's just the regular now.
So that's interesting that they would do the Pro first. I guess it's close enough that they're like, we can sell really cheap PS4s and then PS5s, right? Is that the idea?
Exactly. Yeah, that's totally. The Xbox One X got discontinued in like July.
Yes.
Right. And I completely forgot about that. Because the PS4 3 wasn't discontinued till like 3 years into the PS4's run.
Yeah, I think that sounds right. Yeah.
So
when you think about it in terms of like, hey, if you want to offer a console for people on a budget, they're gonna if they're price sensitive, they're gonna want the cheapest one. The idea of just like, hey, we're still gonna keep selling this half-step console that is still behind the real console we want you to buy. Like they probably just don't need to do it. There probably just isn't as much of a market for it anymore, especially if, they need to make more PlayStation 5s because people want to buy them. So if this ends up also freeing up some manufacturing that they can switch over and be like, all right, let's crank out more of this stuff, then maybe that makes sense. So they should sell through what they have and probably move on. I think that probably makes sense.
Yeah, I had not realized till I checked this morning that I guess the PS4 Pro never got an official price drop. It remained at $399 the whole time it's been out. And so, like the discless PS5 is also $399. Like,
right. Yeah.
Zero reason to buy a PS4 Pro at that price if you can get your hands on a PS5 instead.
I mean, I guess. Yeah, because of the backwards compatibility thing. I was going to say, like, if you want to play like late stage PS4 games and not have like playing Control on a base PS4 is not the way to do it, right? You want to play that on Pro or 5 now. So I guess that just locks that into being you buy a PS5 for this game.
Also, I don't know if this is like an effect of the pandemic or is this the official price? The regular PS4 is still $299 on GameStop. Is what I'm seeing. That can't be right. Is that?
I swear I got mine for like $200.
That's what
Maybe
I
it was
thought.
on sale.
Again, I can't tell because like on Amazon it's out of stock officially and like it's available from these sellers type stuff. So I'm not sure what's like. I'm not sure what's pandemic pricing and what is like actual MSRP here.
Yeah,
on the regular PS4.
Well, they have a slim and do they still do a slim and a regular PS4, or do they just like at some point swap out for all the slims? Or it's not fully slim, but that's
$299 sounds kind of high to me for a PlayStation 4 at this point.
Oh, well, yeah, for sure. But like, that's again probably pushing them in a direction of just like, well, if we're going to keep making these things, we want to get this for it. If you don't like the price, then you should step up and get a PS5 instead or whatever. But the catch is that you can't get one of those easily right now. I don't know. It's Yeah, that's not a great price.
Yeah. I don't think anybody's going to super miss the Pro, though. The thing is kind of not super useful at this point.
I never got one. Same. I mean,
if you wanted a PS4, that is the PS4 to probably get.
Yeah,
right. But
unless you had a PS4, and then you probably don't want a PS4 if you have a PS4.
Yeah, at this point, yeah, exactly. But like, I don't know. My Pro was fine. Like, I think having it in that window at that time frame, it was totally fine. But now it doesn't make sense. Like I think, yeah, because you should get a PS5, or if you're so price sensitive about stuff, then you probably just want a regular PS4 or go out and buy a used. Or, like these things are still out there, right? I mean, you could probably still find a Pro for now. Yeah,
probably. Yeah. Oh, I mean, I checked. I mean, Amazon and Best Buy, they were out of stock this morning, so I guess they have sold through. Let's see. Nintendo bought Next Level Games, which I feel like if you'd asked me like 3 years ago, has this already happened? I might have said yes.
Yeah.
Next Level Games most recently they made Luigi's Mansion 3. Yep. But going back, I mean, they made that newer Punch Out for the Wii.
Yeah.
What else? That game was all right, wasn't it?
It's a hell of a game. Yeah.
Let's see. They made Super Mario Strikers.
Yeah.
Also for the Wii. Like, they've been around. They've been doing Nintendo games for quite some time. They're based in, I think they're in Canada, I believe.
Canada,
yes.
Yeah,
they're in Canada. But I guess Luigi's Mansion 3 was enough to push them over the edge. I don't know. Nintendo does not acquire studios that often, so it feels kind of new when they do.
But then they realized we need to own the developers of NHL Hits Pro.
Wait, really?
Finally did.
Yeah.
What?
And Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon. I assume the Wii version. Yeah, that's the Wii exclusive Ghost Recon.
I would believe that. Yeah, I like Luigi's Mansion 3. Okay, it's not my favorite, but it was pretty good.
I liked Luigi a lot.
Luigi's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Does
Nintendo not own Game Freak then?
No. I don't know. Like, I don't think they.
I believe there's antitrust reasons or something. I was reading one time of why they don't, or that it would be a hard acquisition if they wanted him. But there's a lot of crossover, a lot of ex-Nintendo people there. Isn't that where Koji Kondo went? Or not Koji Kondo, who did the 8-bit sound design for the NES. He loved reggae. Oh god, it's gonna kill me.
Yeah, that's Koji Kondo.
Axel Rose
and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. Yes, Axel. Axel is making a new Pokemon right now.
Oh,
sorry. Yes, Hip Tanaka. Yeah.
Yes, of course, Hip Tanaka. Yeah,
he's their main music guy, right, or something, or like president or something. I don't know.
That sounds right.
Like I was saying, there's a lot of crossover between the two.
Yeah. But I mean, Retro is the only other. Retro is the only other Western studio I can think of that Nintendo has bought. Right? Probably.
Yeah.
They're still doing stuff. Like years and years later, they're still cranking stuff out.
Retro, yeah, in theory they are. Yes, I always lose. I don't always keep track of who's doing what with Nintendo stuff. But are they the most recent studio doing Metroid stuff? Is that
Metroid
them?
Prime. I think that might be right. I think they might have taken that over. Let's see, upcoming.
They acquired the majority stake of the Seattle Mariners for 14 years.
Yes, of course.
Yes, if you wanted to, if you, yes, I went to some kind of fancy box at a Mariners game once, back in that time frame.
Yes,
those
Retro
two studios.
Retro is now listed as the developer for Metroid Prime 4, which pretty ironic considering they made those first 3 games and then they were set free and then they got pulled back in. They're like, no.
Oh, jeez.
Second thought, we might need you to make one more of these. Actually, sorry. Apologies to Donkey Kong. Anyway, I don't know if that seems cool.
Sorry, Donkey Kong, for the edit of the DK rap I made that made you say curse words.
No. But yeah, if Retro is any example, I mean, hopefully Next Level will be pretty well taken care of there. And
seems like it. I mean, they've taken care of some good franchises for Nintendo. So yeah, hopefully this just well, I mean, hopefully whatever, they will continue this relationship, and it'd be cool if they made a new Punch-Out.
Yeah,
that's my take. They should make it.
Sure.
What if they made another one of those?
Punch-Out Wii was great. That game was fantastic.
I could get into that.
What if they had made that instead of ARMS? How different would we be talking about the Switch now?
So the secret hidden boss at the end of Punch-Out Wii was Donkey Kong. Who would you bring in for the next generation's Punch-Out secret boss of Nintendo fame?
Sephiroth.
Eggplant Wizard. I want to box the Eggplant Wizard.
Master Hand.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's a Snorlax.
That's pretty good. He would just replace King Hippo, I feel like.
Right. Yeah.
Oh wait,
I get to play the flute instead of punching him.
Wait, is Master Hand just that giant hand from Zelda?
Or from Smash? He's the last boss. Right, is it the same hand?
Is it the hand from Zelda or no?
Well, no, because the lore, the Super Smash Brothers Melee lore is that the Master Hand is a real hand in the real world, and
oh boy, I'm sorry. I
apologize. And then Crazy Hand in Brawl is his brother.
I feel like you have to take a shower now.
That's yes.
I had to do that anyway. That's my secret.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. What is the hand from Zelda? Now that what's the name of that thing?
What is the hand from Zelda called? It's
Roof Buddy.
Hand from Zelda.
Is it Wall?
It's
Wall Guy.
Wall Guy.
Something. The hand from Zelda. Wallmaster.
Wallmaster. I believe it is Wallmaster, which sounds like a as seen on TV piece of workout gear.
It's totally the Wallmaster. That's right.
He's not on the walls though. He's on the ceiling in the
No, he comes out of the wall. No. Original Legend of Zelda, the hand comes out of the wall and grabs you and sucks you back to the start of the dungeon.
It's true. Also known as clutches.
Clutches.
What? That's not true. What?
That his friends call him clutches.
That can't be canon.
Hey, clutches.
Maybe, perhaps not. All right. Yes.
Speaking of Zelda.
Nintendo news. That's right. And the Breath of the Wild modding and emulation community is so weird. Like even before this story came out, like the YouTube algorithm served up a video to me of Breath of the Wild running at 8K with ray traced global illumination.
Jesus Christ.
I was watching a week or two ago. Like people are doing some weird shit with Breath of the Wild, the PC.
It's fucking crazy.
Yes, it really is. But one of those things is that a modder has discovered that the NPCs in Breath of the Wild are built out of Mii data. That literally,
I saw these images. It's nuts.
It's fucking crazy to look at side by side. They posted. It's out there on Twitter. The user is "Hey, I'm Heroic" is the Twitter username, and they posted some side-by-side comparison shots that and they say that they literally can inject Mii data, like a Mii into Breath of the Wild, and it creates a Breath of the Wild style NPC off of it, and it's pretty damn accurate. Like some of these side-by-sides are like, man, that really is that Mii, but in Zelda.
I want to see people take like the super broken looking Miis that people made that were maybe a little less humanoid, a little less human looking, and put those in there and see it, because people got out there with creating fucked up Miis, and I want to see how those translate.
What was that Street Pass meme? Like I'm Lonk from Pennsylvania or whatever. It's just a fucking link with like the mouth between the eyes and shit like that. Yes,
I just really like that they got Matt from Wii Sports in there. In my mind, he is the canonical Mii.
Which one is
Matt from Wii Sports?
Matt from Wii Sports is the bald guy with the goatee.
Okay.
Who's whenever he would come up in Wii Sports, you're like, this fucker, this guy's real. He's gonna tear my ass open. Yeah, boxing, baseball, doesn't matter the game. Matt is an expert.
I want to see, Nintendo was real big on their executives having Miis out there for a while, Iwata had a Mii and Reggie had a Mii, and they really promoted those. I don't know if that data ever got out there, though. I guess people could recreate them pretty easily.
There was like fake Street Pass stuff where you would, I want to say they would, over the network, send a Street Pass Reggie to you on a DS.
Oh, I think you're right.
I don't want a Street Pass Reggie. I do not want a Street Pass Reggie. Do not send me a Street Pass Reggie.
You just reminded me. I think Reggie is living inside a 3DS in my closet.
Free him,
That's
Brad.
where he went?
Yeah.
Yep, that's right. Just got him in there whenever I need a heavy, when I need somebody to really handle some business for me.
He's on the board of directors of the DS in your closet.
You flip open the clamshell and he pops out.
I need somebody to negotiate something for me. I got to call Reggie. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, like, I mean, this modder is saying they can straight up take a Mii and just stick it in the game. It's just ridiculous. That's wild. That is an amazing detail of game development that probably never would have gotten out without the modding scene around that game.
Yeah, that's really neat.
Yeah. All right. Last story.
I wish it was easier for people to do. I wish that there was a easier way for people to do this themselves. You know, with the Zelda stuff, if there was just a way to inject your own Mii data into. Yeah,
they did not put out like a tool or any instructions on how to do this yourself necessarily, but.
Yeah, I don't even mean. I mean, like, what if that was just something that was a part of the game, and it? I guess Mii's aren't really a huge part of the Switch anyway, and that's for the best. But if there was a way to be like, oh, like everyone's NPCs are going to look a little bit different because we're pulling it from everyone you have ever been friends with or meeted up with or whatever, like that would have been a cool thing for that game.
Sure. For sure. This just made me realize how much I miss street passing. I wish they had something like that still.
Remember Streets?
Well, we wouldn't be getting a lot of use out of it right now.
Not at the moment. Or yeah, you're right, of course. But I don't know. It's the Switch seems like tailor-made for more street passing. But
people set up. There were ways to. Like you would take the official dongle, the official Wi-Fi dongle, and install something, and you would basically like do fake street passes with people.
Yes, I love that shit.
Yeah,
street pass from your house with people anywhere.
Sit down pass, more like
bridging the gap.
I mean, street passing was like super fun at PAX though, like using it legit. You know, like just walking around with your 3DS and seeing what you got.
It set you to the limit. Like you very quickly understood the limitations of it though, because you could only like store up like 20 people, and so it became this process of like I just have to sit here and manage this, and I have to play all these mini games right now because I need to go out and get 20 more people, and that stuff was like I wish that if they were to do that, it'd be cool if they did a much larger version of it.
But like that's the type of stuff I miss on the Switch. Not that the Switch isn't like a great platform overall, but like that sense of like playfulness around the edges of the system design. You know, it just feels like a very straightforward thing that does the one thing very well.
Look, if you want a street pass, if you want to walk around and do stuff in a Nintendo game, then you should just install Pokemon Go.
Send me gifts that I'll never open.
Great. Sorry. Good stuff. All right. Here we are.
Last story. Oh my god, I was so excited when I read this because I thought it was going to be something way cooler than it actually was.
You think you're excited? Cary Town Center has the dubious distinction of being the shopping mall at which I bought my copy of The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask.
Hey! And now
burn it down.
And now Epic Games,
Mr. Fortnite.
And now Epic Games has bought it and is going to turn it into their new headquarters.
The GameStop?
Well, the whole mall.
Yeah, the whole mall.
Yes. Epic Games has purchased the Cary Town Center, the shopping mall in Cary, North Carolina.
So when I first read this, I assumed they were turning it into some sort of like, we're making real Fortnite. Like I thought they were turning it into like some giant esports zone that you could like go to and do IRL Fortnite shit. Like, did you guys do the Fortnite mini golf at PAX?
But
I saw a little bit of it.
Me and you, Jan, and like Abby and somebody else. I can't remember who came with us. And that was like really cool. It was like, oh, we're playing mini golf and there's Fortnite shit everywhere. Like I thought they were trying to make an amusement park basically, but no, it's their offices.
Yeah, they're just gonna buy this mall and move in there.
All right, Brad, tell me about this mall.
It's a mall. Cary, Cary is pretty upscale as that area goes. I've worked in Cary, but I did not live there, but I happened to be near there. I bought Majora's Mask and played it once and never again.
You got off light?
That's right. It sounds like, from what I read in this story on WRAL, it sounds like it's mostly empty at this point, which not surprising for the American shopping mall, I guess, at this point.
Yeah. in fact, even before last year, I feel like malls have just been
sad.
I guess this is becoming increasingly common, like corporations buying malls and turning them into other stuff because there's all that it's just real estate sitting there doing nothing. It's probably cheap.
Yeah.
Half of Canfran is now an Amazon warehouse.
Canfran
in San Bruno?
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. There's just a full fleet of Amazon. There's smaller delivery trucks just parked outside the Sears.
Wow,
I know that was one of the future use cases for malls was that Amazon was going to buy a bunch of them and just turn them into distro centers.
Can we buy Hilltop Mall?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, but I mean, actually, if that tells you anything, I mean, even the mall here in the nice part of town was on its last legs, to the extent that Epic is taking it over. So, poor malls, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah, generation is malls are gonna. I mean, we're gonna see some sort of mall revival. I think, like how we saw an arcade revival. Like there will be something that resembles a mall. There will be fewer and far between, and what's going to be there is going to be not what we're used to. But like, it's weird to think that a whole generation is just not going to have the mall.
The thing that it's so as a man, it's nothing that I've ever. The sizing in women's clothing is ridiculous. It is all over the place, from brand to brand, from style to style, in a way that I had no idea until after I got married, and there's just a lot of like. These clothes need to be returned because they're total bullshit. And so like the idea of trying on fucking clothes before you buy them, if you don't have a mall, then if we go all online shopping, then it's just the return process. And that's why, you had Amazon partner up with like fucking Kohl's. And Kohl's was just like happy to do it because they were like, does this mean people will show up at a Kohl's occasionally? Because if we could accidentally sell them something 1 out of every 10 times, that'd be better than we're doing now. They agreed to take Amazon returns. So like you can take your, and I don't know if it's every one or whatever, but like you could take Amazon returns to fucking Kohl's. And, like that's crazy. But like, it means, like as more and more online shopping happens, and you saw it a lot more this year, obviously, there are a lot more returns associated with that. I'm just like, oh, the sizing on these, I've run into it a lot too. Just like the sizing on these fucking Adidas are not like the Adidas I bought last year. So fuck this shit.
XLT means a lot of different things to a lot of different people when it comes to how you size your long parts.
Yeah.
Also, like
not my long part.
Not even just trying on
up top.
Whoa. Let's keep it civil here. Like not even just trying clothes on, but like you could walk 2 minutes from one of the 2 big department stores in the mall to the other. It's just like there are like 8 different stores that sell clothes within a 90-second walk of here. Like the mall is missed.
Food courts.
Oh man,
food courts. You think they keep the food
courts
reserved
to concert salt? Oh yeah. Oh, they keep the
food
courts.
Right? How do you? I think they said
they're going to have like a few real chains, like a Burger King, a Sbarro's or whatever, and then like some kind of like, they could probably hire small restaurants to just set up and be like a food court.
I mean, if they're running a campus, like I don't know how many employees they have there. It's probably a whole lot, right?
Yeah, I was looking for a number. They didn't say.
Like most of one of the floors at Twitch HQ is a cafeteria, like with a huge ton of options and stuff. So you just do that. But then also they probably will still have a Burger King.
Yeah. I would say like doesn't Microsoft have like a dentist on campus and stuff like that?
Sure.
Like there's like some stuff like that you can just go do while you're at work or on your lunch break or whatever, because it's just right there.
I've definitely heard about those companies having like laundry service on campus and stuff like that.
For sure. Yeah. So yeah, they probably keep the food court.
Spido Man in the chat says Microsoft campus has a dentist, haircut place, bank, and eyeglasses place.
Yeah, I saw the dentist last time I was up there, which was like when they were announcing the Xbox One. I think I saw the dentist zone.
I mean, they have their own zip code, right? Doesn't that campus, like that's the whole kind of claim to fame, is that campus has its own zip code?
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, crazy. I would go to work in a former shopping mall. That would be super surreal.
But I would want them to
golf teams.
Yeah, I would want it to not change at all. I would want it to still look like I don't want them to tear any part of it down. I just be like, no, set up desks in the fucking the limited 2 over here.
Yeah, which store would you guys work at?
I want to work in the Spencer's Gifts.
I want to work at the
still can't take pictures in there.
And fuck a Hot Topic, Spencer's.
Spencer's Gifts has so much Dragon Ball shit these days. It's amazing. I saw like 10 different Goku items the last time I was in a Spencer's.
God, I'm surprised it still exists. I feel like
weed is timeless.
Okay, fair.
I'd set up shop in the second fake legging store.
Yeah,
not the first.
It's a very modern mall store.
Yeah, like as soon as you said they need to keep everything as is, I got really sad because they probably would gut the decor and all that stuff, right? Like I want the old mall carpet and all that stuff, you know.
Like I want it to look like a mall. Yeah, escalators, like
play the music all day.
I want a sign over a boarded up, not boarded up, you know, the sign they put up. It's like something new is coming soon to this decrepit mall you're somehow hanging out in. And then like you come back in a month and like something has opened up there to like sell really shitty scented candles, but it's already closed. There's like, that place lasted a month and now it's gone again. I want like the guy standing in the center of the mall with like the shitty fucking tiny drones for sale. And he's just like yelling at you like, please come try this goddamn drone. Hey,
there's somebody selling a console with a bootleg version of Fortnite on it.
Exactly. Yes. And then I want them to turn their office headquarters into the next Fortnite map. I was gonna say Counter-Strike map because that's what you do. You turn your office into a Counter-Strike map, and then people go like, "This is fucked up."
This is an HR violation.
Yeah, but Fortnite, that's fun. Yeah,
you can get away with
Fortnite map.
It's too goofy.
Dougie in it.
They should have a real arcade in that thing. They should just pick one of those storefronts and just put arcade machines in it for your employees to play. Make it an actual arcade.
Totally.
All right, that's what I've got for the news. Why don't we take
it's time to launch into the email segment without any surprises.
Let's take 2. What?
Are we gonna take a break?
I don't know.
We're taking a break.
I'm going to keep going.
Yeah,
I'm
going
to
keep rolling.
I'm going to keep going.
All right, let's just keep rolling then.
Time to roll into the buzz. That's right. It's B-mails.
Oh.
Boy, yeah.
Production.
Wow, we spent a long time on that one in the booth.
That's right.
Yeah.
Jan, you want to talk us through your process on that?
Where'd you get that little orchestra hit?
That is the orchestra hit from Get On My Level. I wanted to bring that back as a tribute, you know, to something that Ben spearheaded, just like he's spearheading these B-mails.
That's right. And we're starting out today's B-mails with a little game. This B-mail comes in from Isaac in Calgary, Canada, and it's called Top 13 Grossing Games Quiz. Hi, Bomb Crew, Steam, and no looking at chat for this one. Steam has released a list of the top 100 revenue grossing games in 2020. They broke up the game into 4 tiers. Top tier, platinum tier, includes 13 titles. Can you guess the top 13 grossing games on Steam in 2020? We're going to do this Family Feud style, so we're going to go around one by one. You got 3 strikes, and the last person standing wins.
Can I ask a question before we get going
please.
here?
Go ahead. Ask a question.
Does it include hardware that is also sold on Steam?
Probably not.
Well, the hardware isn't tied to it. No, this is all software.
Okay.
And I assume it's not just primary game sales. It's like anything that has DLC that also factors in.
There are free-to-play games in this list.
Okay.
Jeff, why don't you kick us off first?
Top 13. I'm going to say Red Dead Redemption 2.
Red Dead Redemption 2 is on the list. Ding. Brad?
Man, that's what I was going to say because that got Game of the Year on Steam. Oh my God. Oh man, what came out this year?
You have 30 seconds.
Wait, are these all games that were released this year, or are these just
these are the top grossing games of the year?
Just whatever made the most money this year. Then GTA 5.
GTA 5 is on the list. Ding, Jan.
I thought it had to come out this year.
Among Us?
Among Us is on the list. Ding. Jeff.
Counter-Strike Go.
This just says Counter-Strike, but I believe that would be Counter-Strike Go. Ding. Brad. Good answer.
Good answer.
Some weird anime shit I've never heard of.
Weird anime shit we've never heard of.
Weird anime shit I haven't heard of is not on the board.
It says,
Great.
Okay.
Great.
Brad, you have one strike. Jan.
Dota 2?
Dota 2 on the list. Ding.
Oh.
Good answer.
I feel like I need to see where the list is now, so we stop saying duplicates. But all right, forget it. We'll make do. It'll work.
Yeah, I did not think that far ahead.
Is it my turn?
Yes, it is your turn.
Fall Guys.
Ooh.
Good answer. Fall Guys is on the board. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games remaining.
Shit. Man.
Dude, okay, so is Brad's one strike the strike for the whole team?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Okay, we can only miss 3.
You guys are a family now, but
Oh,
no help
man.
until you have 2 strikes. Then you can
Dude,
consult.
I am really blanking. Maybe Microsoft Flight Simulator? Probably not. I just can't think of anything else that's...
Okay, you guys have 1 strike remaining. You get 30 seconds to get bits.
All the big mainstays have been covered.
It's probably
You
Ark,
can help
right?
each other.
Ark is probably on the list, right?
I'm gonna make a shot in the dark. Ben, so once again, it's games of last year.
They can have come out at any time, but it was
just
the
what
top
made the most
money
money.
earners of 2020.
Oh, Ghost game. The Ghost one. The main Ghost one.
Phasmophobia.
Yes.
Is that the one?
Yes.
Phasmophobia is not on the list. Okay. Good job. You guys got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of 12 games. The remaining games are PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, Monster Hunter World, Destiny 2,
Of course.
Cyberpunk,
Wow.
Doom Eternal, and Rainbow
okay.
Six Siege.
Right. All right. Yeah,
So,
I was going to say
surprised.
Cyberpunk or Apex next. That was my next 2 guesses.
Apex was 1 tier down from the top tier. Thanks for that, Isaac. I was a little surprised by Among Us. I know that game was huge, but I was like, it's free on phones, so maybe that ate a bunch of its audience, and the phone audience is like so much bigger than the Steam audience. But even with that, like, man, that game sold.
Like Fall Guys, I would have thought because it was PlayStation Plus, and so there were potentially a lot of people that got it for free there. But I think that game, like, it feels like anyone who's streaming that game is streaming it on PC, right? Because I feel like
they both drive cosmetics also. So
of course,
yeah, true. I bought the $2 Among Us pack. I didn't even think of that.
Repeatable revenue.
Oh, sorry. Oh, okay. This next email. I'm still saying email.
email. Finally, Electronics Boutique writes in with this pre-order today.
Oh, I think it was
subject line.
Jorah's Mask.
Everyone's a Goro. Everyone in the world now has 4 arms. You are assigned to redesign controllers and consoles to take advantage of everyone's extra arms. What cool stuff would you add to the consoles? Keep up the good work. Samuel.
Everyone's a Shokan, thank you.
Does Goro have 6 arms?
No. I'm just saying it's disrespectful to the other.
To
Shiva.
disrupt Shiva.
Shiva. Everyone's a Shiva.
And Kentaro for him to just say.
Well, Kentaro. Yeah.
My immediate answer is you'd remaster the Pod Racer game from N64 that let you use 2 different N64 controls to control.
Yeah, I was going to say this is the change that makes the N64 controller suck a little bit less.
You could add 1 more handle to it.
Yeah, right. No, I just, I would not change anything. I would just have those hands free for sandwich holding and, just like other sort of good stuff.
Good shout. was gonna say you add like a Nintendo Fit ring to every single game.
That's pretty good.
I would continue playing games the same way, but now I can eat messy snacks at the same time and not feel bad about it, which I currently refuse to do.
Would you have your top set of arms be the gaming arms or the bottom set of arms?
Ooh.
It depends on how heavy the sandwich is and which arms are stronger. I think you probably.
I think the lap arms would be for the controller, and the upper arms would be for the stuff in the face.
But if like you're cranking it, you probably are going to use your lower arms for that, right?
You could do like a diagonal switch.
Yeah, it's called the Stranger.
Oh, okay, right, yeah, got it.
Mighty War Canoe is a good point. You can play 2 consoles at once. You 3DS and PS4 at the same time.
Yeah. Second screen experiences probably, like smart glass makes a lot more sense now. Like all the Microsoft tablet stuff and all that. Yeah.
All right. It sounds like it'd just be more convenient.
Just food. Just easier food.
Jan, you brought up Ring Fit. That leads us into our next B-mail. Fuck! Our next B-mail. Hi, Ben and the Bombcast. I was surprised to see that apparently Ring Fit Adventure was a huge hit in 2020. The email here, Michael, throws in a lot of numbers. The one that stuck out to me, it was the second biggest selling game in Japan overall in 2020. Huge in China and the UK and America as well. But the question here is, do you think there will be a sequel to Ring Fit Adventure? Do you think there will ever be imitations for Xbox or PlayStation? Is the fitness game space being underserved? Just wondering your thoughts on this corner of gaming. Michael in Los Gatos.
Hang on, did Ring Fit come out last year? Or was that 2019? Okay,
yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can speak to the fact that I would be interested in a sequel, of course. There's some practical issues with that because the Ring controller, at this point, I've played that game for over 100 hours. The Ring itself is getting a little weaker. Pressing in on it, basically the very first thing you do in that game, like the start screen, is push the Ring in, and it's going to tell you how hard you're pushing it in, and you just push and hold for a couple seconds. And I can tell like what used to be 100% is now like 80%. And I think it's just because it's losing a little bit. It still works. And most of the exercises I'm doing are aerobic anyway, like a lot of leg stuff. So it's not that huge of a deal. So I think they would have to just like, if they want to do another one, straight up give you a new Ring Kong with it, like maybe sell it individual, but
both ways. Yeah. They'd have to sell it both ways regardless. Cause
like that's a bummer to hear, because I was going to say, now that there's this install base of this very nice fitness controller, like, hey, just start pumping out software for it. But if the thing doesn't hold up over time, that's not great.
People asking, is Ben just getting stronger? No, because then it would be
120%.
Yeah, exactly. You'd have to push it in less hard to get it to 100. You'd go like, anyway, sorry, cut you off.
Are you getting weaker?
I definitely am getting weaker. I will say, just a real quick Ring Fit anecdote. I think I talked about like how I beat the game finally after putting off the last boss forever because I had dropped off right before it. I've been playing New Game Plus, and it's not great. You are not unlocking a big draw of the adventure mode of that game was you were constantly unlocking new exercises and stuff and constantly changing your rotation. It's gotten to the point where I've gotten most of the skill tree, so I'm not really unlocking anything else, and it's the same. So I have just like the most efficient exercises equipped because I don't want to go through and change them every time. Though I have discovered there's a custom mode where you can fit in all of the exercises from the games, your stretches, your ab presses, your arm presses, your back presses, stuff like that, as well as jogging through the stages. They added that jogging mode where you could just like run through the levels and do the stuff in the levels without fighting the monsters, mini games and sets like that. And so I've been going through and creating like, okay, here's an aerobic set. It's these 16 exercises, and you can set the reps for each one of them and stuff like that. I think that this is kind of buried in the game. I didn't even realize it was something in here, but it is a way to kind of develop your own exercise routine. And I wish they kind of pointed people more at it, but I think that is where you could go with a sequel. I think they proved they could make a fun enough adventure game with Ring Fit that the exercise game space is underserved. Nobody has done like quote unquote a really good exercise game up until now, except maybe like Beat Saber. I know people really like that one.
Just Dance, maybe.
Just Dance, which it could be very casual if you want it to be, or it could be very hardcore.
Wii Fit was all right for what it was, like the balance board
stuff. It was a good idea, but I feel like it was undercooked a little bit.
It spawned one of the characters, though.
That is true. And just the aesthetic of it was great. But I think what you do with a sequel is you make it a little more involved as an actual fitness thing, like how to incorporate like a more healthy lifestyle. And, there could be all sorts of things you would explore in that game of like, okay, Ring Fit proved to you that you could enjoy exercise. Here's how to really progress in a fitness career. Because it is like a career, like fucking maintaining your body. You got to put work into it.
I think.
I have to eat 2 burritos a day to maintain this.
Lift.
Don't go to the airport.
Yeah, that is something that being at home all the time has really driven home for me. It's like, when you're not even walking to and from an office every day, wow. It sure does seem like you deteriorate quickly.
Yeah. I think the thing they have to kind of address if they would make a sequel is making sure people's form is actually correct. Like I've had a lot of friends complain about the game, saying like, "Oh, like I'm getting sore in this weird area that these exercises aren't supposed to be targeting," and then like they'd show a video or whatever what they're doing, and they're doing it completely wrong. So I don't know.
You have to really pay attention to tip. Like there's a little thing in the corner that you can watch, but if you're not able to watch that, and like if I didn't have my partner around who like knows a bit about fitness to like spot for me for my first couple weeks with that game, I could imagine it being a disaster.
I don't know how they would solve that on a Switch though. You can't get a third Joy-Con. Right.
And I don't want to see a camera of me doing the exercise on screen. I'm going to look like a dumbass.
Yeah,
I say as somebody who has streamed during Fit multiple times.
I always thought that like if they expanded on like stuff to do with the controller, that it would be more in like a fun vein and less like here's a more hardcore sequel. You'd be like, hey, we have that game if you want to do the fitness thing. And maybe they do an update of that adds more exercises or whatever. And that's not precluding what you're suggesting, but something that's just like, oh, we made a dedicated rhythm game that uses this, or like we found a way to make some kind of like competitive multiplayer.
Okay, picture this: like a board game, and then every time after everyone goes, you could have this sort of like a mini game where you use the ring con. And maybe the board game you're like collecting like a star or something, some kind of valuable
like a shape
video game item, like a shape. It could be like a ring or a ring con ring or something. And there'd be fun spaces you could land on, like a question mark.
I like fun.
Board. Yeah. Fun.
I like fun. I like space.
So it wouldn't be the worst accessory for a Mario Party game.
Yeah, but like something that's like here's like 20 different things you can do with the ring, like minigame collection is kind of the thing that comes to mind. But like
there's like 8 or 10 of them in Ring Fit, and I think they could super flesh out those into being way more fun.
Yeah, like it tracks like the rotation pretty well. You could do like a driving mini game or whatever.
Yeah, just make it so you can play Mario Kart with it.
I think about something like a Space Pirate Trainer or Beat Saber type thing, just something that's like fun and easy, fun and repeatable. You know what I mean? Like something like a quick go-to action game that is enjoyable to play that you would want to play a lot of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. A couple more B-mails here. This one will help both Carl from Massachusetts as well as myself. If I think Jeff and Brad could answer this question. Short and sweet. What is Star Citizen? I feel like I don't know what Star Citizen is at this point, and I'm afraid to ask.
You ever heard of Amway?
No.
I was going to say, like, have you ever heard of like Elite Dangerous? But I guess this is also a valid comparison.
This is the one where people are like buying the super expensive ships, right?
Oh my god, dude! Are you like, holy shit?
Is this what
you were asking for?
like,
genuine top to bottom breakdown of the business model of Star Citizen, I feel like your head is about to go.
Here's what I know about Star Citizen. People are buying very expensive ships.
Okay.
And you can't play it yet.
I feel like very expensive is selling it short. I mean, we are talking individual spaceships that cost 5 figures, is my understanding. Like,
and
$10,000 ships. People have sunk tens of thousands of dollars into this game that's not out after almost a decade.
Well, you can play parts of it. Like there are aspects of the game
there's an
that
alpha
you can do. There are things you can do. I don't know if it's good or not. I can't.
The last thing I saw was over the break. What is their kind of standalone single player thing?
I was gonna say Area 51, but it's something like that.
Has a name.
Rim 47.
Is that it?
No, I don't know.
Wasn't that the EVE Online?
Squadron 40
EVE Online one.
Squadron 41.
I believe it's Squadron 42. Like they just like over the break, I guess, came out and pushed a release date for that back yet again after saying it would be out last year or something. Cool. So whatever it was, people were not thrilled that this date had slipped again for that game, and that they were just like, "Hey, we don't have anything to show. Chill," or something to that effect.
I want to know. Okay. All right. I was curious. Is Star Citizen on the blockchain yet? And I typed in.
Do you have to ask?
Star Citizen blockchain, and I got to this third-party site that seems to be like, I'm the victim of a fraudulent trade. Can you help? No, we can't. You trade on the gray market at your own risk. CIG cannot support these transactions or render arbitration in disputes. But they did start to. Okay, I guess they started to regulate. Oh man, I can't. I have to close. I'm sorry. I have to close this tab. I don't know what Star Citizen is. It was supposed to be like a big thing from the guy what made Wing Commander.
Yes,
it was in that vein. And then at some point, I don't know if this couldn't have been the original plan. At some point, this has to have gotten away from them in like the best possible way, where they were like, "Oh, there's way more money coming in. Like we did this crowdfunding campaign, but there's still more money. These people still want to spend a bunch of money on it. I think maybe we should just keep going with the not putting the game out thing because it's going great."
Trying to figure out how much they've made to date on this thing. I remember when they passed the $100 million mark, and that is, again, $100 million from players giving them money for a game that's not out. Right. It doesn't exist, but that was a while ago. I think they are way past that at this point.
Yeah, is there money laundering happening in this game?
Who knows, man?
Could be.
Shit. Numerous people in the chat say they are past $300 million now.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's crazy, dude. Like,
and
every time you like dunk on Star Citizen or question it, some small number of people will show up getting very defensive about it. But like,
well, yeah, if I fucking sunk that much money into this thing too, I'd be like, no, it's good. No, it's good. Stop. Like, no, it's good. You need to stop talking about Star Citizen because it's good.
You're going to be spending more money than
Mark Hamill's going to. We have when Squadron 41 drops and all the voice actors are here, you will then you'll see. You'll all see.
Dizzy in the chat, I have to give credit, coined what has to be the GameSpot pun for the review of this game if it ever comes out, which is sunk cost galaxy.
Boom.
It's good stuff.
Get fucked.
It's like a super ambitious idea. Like, it's this big, persistent, like,
yeah.
It's like EVE Online, but if EVE Online was like first person with dogfighting and capital ship control and like all kinds of shit, right? It's like, I think they've always kind of billed it as like the last space game you'll ever need, I think is the impression I always get. Like, it's kind of all people that want some kind of space game.
I guess. And then it feels like Elite Dangerous just kind of grew in the other direction instead of just like raising $8 trillion up front and then like immediately scoping into this insane area. Elite Dangerous just quietly grew into being more and more of a thing to where it kind of got to some of what that pitch sounded like. And you're like, oh, this is actually pretty neat. I don't know. I remember that was something Vinny and Drew tried to like answer the question of what is Star Citizen, and then it just it's too many rabbit holes. Too many rabbit holes.
Yeah, it's a lot.
All right, I got a nice, fun little email, I think, to close things out. If you missed it, last week we ranked our take on the worst song of the 90s, and I feel like this ties into that in a little fun way. It's from Alex in Suffolk, who says, "Through circumstances, you find yourself back in the heyday of MTV Spring Break, and you are next in line on Say What Karaoke. What song do you sing, and how do you win over the crowd? And whatever B-rate athlete or movie star judge is there. Thanks, Alex." So in my mind, heyday of Spring Break's like mid-90s, right? Mm-hmm. Like pre-2000.
Yeah, okay.
I guess so. I
didn't watch a lot of the spring. It was Spring Break. It was like literally just live footage of like kids partying in Cancun or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
I don't remember watching much of that.
Just a lot of shirtless teens drinking and grinding.
Of course, yep. Yes.
So my choice would be Pony by Genuine.
Ooh. Oh wow, you're not that far off from my choice. But the phrase "Say What Karaoke" sounds familiar, but I don't remember like. Were there rules to that, or is it just karaoke?
It's like karaoke, but be as sleazy as you can, right? If I'm remembering, I did not watch a ton of it myself either. It was not allowed.
Like lip sync, like ham it up, like put on a show kind of thing.
And there'd be people up on stage with you and stuff.
Yeah. My first response is "No Diggity" by Blackstreet.
Oh, that's good.
Good answer.
Good answer.
I don't know if I have an actual answer to this because I've been too busy over here looking up articles about Limp Bizkit blowing up the boat.
What?
Limp
Bizkit blew up a boat in 1999 on TRL.
Oh, okay. All right, yeah,
sure. I don't know.
Was anyone on the boat?
First day there?
Like maybe. I don't know. Probably not. I don't know. All the videos, unfortunately, all the videos of the boat blowing up, all these embeds just say this video contains content from Viacom CBS, who's blocked it on copyright grounds. Those motherfuckers. God. So I don't know. I don't know.
I have to get the people going is like one of the conditions.
Yeah. I mean, it's a party. You're there. You got to keep the vibe going. And it can't be a modern song. It has to be, pre-2000.
Baby Got Back.
That's good.
Yeah. I'd wear a dookie chain and everything.
Oh, Jan, you would look great in a dookie chain.
Thank you.
What if Sora had dookie chains?
You're giving away my ideas for my VTuber.
I'm looking. No, okay, that's way too late. No, I don't know. I don't have a good song answer. I would try to blow up a boat.
Blow up a boat and scat while you do it.
Yo, yeah. I'm scatting whenever. If I'm on a beach, I'm scatting. You know that. So,
fun. I mean,
let me just. If that's the end of the emails, let me just close this page on the Star Citizen wiki called Lifetime Insurance. And let's move on.
Let's move on
to
the next segment.
What?
Yeah, called the
Lifetime
end of the show.
Okay. Lifetime Insurance covers the ship hull and basic equipment only. It does not cover modifications made or cargo acquired by the player after first receiving the ship. I guess that's extra. You guys want to?
Jesus.
Oh, they have like a next level. Of course they fucking do. Like God,
you gotta take out an insurance policy on your fake spaceship.
No, but I do want to run
that spaceship was
scams.
$15,000. So yes, I definitely intend to insure it. I mean, that would be crazy.
A ship with LTI is destroyed or captured. It will be replaced with an identical model in equivalent condition.
Great.
I like that they write that like they're digging it out. Like, oh yeah, we got one of those over here, and don't just like click a button that says respawn ship.
Dude, it's worse. The replacement may not arrive immediately. It can take some time. The developers have indicated that the more often a ship is destroyed, the longer the wait until its replacement arrives.
I could see that from a gameplay perspective, but to have that written up in such a way that says the developers have indicated, like, that just needs to be like, yeah, when your first ship blows up, you get it back immediately. Second one takes a little longer. There's a cooldown on your insurance, you know?
Yeah. Yes. That you paid thousands of dollars for. Okay. I'm done.
I'm done too.
All right. Thank you for the emails. Thank you to everyone for being here and listening to this podcast. It's a new year. A new us. A new you?
That's right.
A new you. We're all heading for the Price is Right or something. Yeah, Game of the Year stuff. Week after next. Catch it.
Yep.
What else
starting Monday?
Help me out here. What else we do?
January 18th.
Assassin's Creed Vindicate.
Oh, yes,
another Casual Friday stream this Friday.
Another Casual Friday stream.
Yes, I've been trying for a while to do something with that Doom Eternal DLC, but it keeps blue screening my machine. So maybe something with that.
Yeah, Alex is taking a break from Drummond
mode.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Stuff. We'll be happy.
Alex is frantically looking over all the guest submissions for the top 10 lists, and he will resume his Drummond once Game of the Year is done, I believe.
Going Rogue will be back soon.
Yes.
Vinny and I we recorded a couple more of those, and we'll be rolling them out again shortly.
Yes.
Nice.
I should talk about Rogue on the next Bombcast.
Yeah.
You know what game is fucking is a piece of shit garbage video game created by monsters? Rogue.
Star Citizen. Oh.
Ooh,
wow.
I love it.
Boy. And I believe we'll be taking another stab at the Casual Friday stream of some sort.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for
ironing out those irons.
Get up your latency a little bit.
You got to grind them till you find them.
That's just to remember the latency is expressed in microseconds, not milliseconds.
Wait.
Talk about
that explains a lot. Okay.
Talk about it later. Yes, that's why it's 250,000 on the end of that URL and not 250.
Well, call me Professor Latency.
All right. Oh boy. On that note, we have to go. Thanks for listening. God damn it. Bye. This has been the
How many
Giant Bomb
matchsticks do I put in the URL?